please be aware that there are multiple balls in use on the pitch whilst the teams warm up, so keep your eyes peeled for any flying near you. We're now just over half an hour to go until we take on Toulouse. We hope you have a fantastic afternoon with us here at Harrow.
Okay, Cara, now it's time to take a look at the score of the teams for today. Starting with our visitors, Toulouse. In goal, number 30, Baptiste René. Number 2, Kelvin Amion. Number 3, Jen Shoji. Number 10, Aaron Iseka. Number 11, Quentin Boyga. Number 12, Isiaga Silla. Number 14, Natil Pasevi. Number 18, Augustine Rogel. Number 20, Emilis Colores. Number 22, Sam Sana. 27, Jean Victor Nikinko.
Well, Canary fans, it's time to take a first look at our starting lineup this afternoon. In goal, number 1, Tim Krul. Number 2, Max Aarons. Number 4, Ben Godfrey. Number 5, Grant Hanley. 12, Jamal Lewis. 14, Todd Kappa. 17, Eddie Buendia. 18, Marco Stieperman. 19, Tom Tribal. 22, Timu Buki. And number 23, Kenny McLean. First of all, for Norwich City, please give a Carrow Road welcome to Caleb from Mulbarton. 7-year-old Caleb enjoys football, swimming, bowling and playing with his friends, and his favourite player is Timu Buki.
Next up, we have Fraser, who is 8 years old from Sheringham. Fraser enjoys playing football and video games. His favourite player is Emmy Bondia.
And next up, we have 10-year-old Harry from Sheringham, who enjoys riding his scooter, playing football and video games. And Harry's favourite players are Max Aarons, Timu Buki and Donal Hernandez.
Please give a huge welcome to Joshua from Wyndham. Josh is 7 years old and enjoys swimming, football, tennis and gaming. His favourite player is Marco Stieperman.
Well, next up we have Neva, who is 7 years old. Neva is from Middlesex and enjoys swimming and dancing. Her favourite player is Ben Godfrey.
Please welcome Regan from Leonard Wells, Wales. Regan is 13 years old. She enjoys hockey and football. Her favourite player is Ben Godfrey.
And next up we have 5-year-old Harley, who enjoys football and swimming. Harley's favourite player is Max Aarons.
Please welcome Georgia from Long Stratton. Georgia is 9 years old. She enjoys arts, crafts, history and football. Her favourite player is Mario Brancic.
Well, let's have a big welcome for 8-year-old Alfie from Thetford, who enjoys building Lego and playing and watching football. Alfie's favourite player is Timu Buki.
Please welcome Noah from Cripplefoot. Noah is 6 years old, enjoys football, gymnastics, cycling, reading and Minecraft. His favourite player is Emmy Bondia.
And finally, please welcome our Junior Canaries winner, Finley, who is 7 years old from Newmarket. Finley enjoys playing with prop blocks and football. His favourite player is Timu Buki.
Please give all our matchday mascots a big round of applause, and we hope they've had a great day with us. If you would like to find out more about our mascot experiences and how to become one, please visit the mascot page at canaries.co.uk.
all comes down to. Every sacrifice you make, every setback you suffer, it all comes down to this. It's more than talent, more than hard work. It's an obsession. He says it with all the noise and big brain. We have a philosophy, and we stick to it, no matter what. The waters off. Always do. But here we are. It's not going to be easy. But if we stand tall, we can show the world what it means to wear that shirt. And second.
Okay, Carrow Road, I find myself near the South Stand today, where Aviva is bringing the community together to tackle loneliness in Norwich. I want to see as many people in this stand get together, and I want to see you high-five the person next to you, and I'm going to get myself in there as well, and I want to see these high-fives. Here we go then, here we go to the stand. Get that hand ready, high-five the person next to you. All right, good job. High-five, here we go, in the crowd. Here we go. High five the person next to you. Just, hello mate. Here we go. High five the person next to you. Thanks to Aviva and get behind this project. High five the person at the friendliest of friendlies in Norwich City's game today.
This is a Norwich City Football Club safety announcement. The chimes you have just heard will precede any safety messages that are broadcast. If you hear the chimes, please remain in your seat and await further instructions of the public address system from club stewards or police officers. Thank you for your attention.
top flight. They finished 16th in that last season. I'm delighted to say I've got Jeremy Goss, the former Norwich City player and now club ambassador, alongside me watching this game, and he'll be commentating with us online and on the Norwich City YouTube channel in just a moment. But Gossy, a quick word from you while we're on BBC Radio Norfolk. What does Daniel Farke want out of this, the final pre-season friendly 6 days before the season starts?
Hello Chris, thanks very much for inviting us. What a splendid view, what a brilliant occasion. The last friendly before they go to the European champions and play them in 5 or 6 days time. He's looking for a first 11, Chris, and he's had enough time now in pre-season to see them in training, assess their fitness, assess their current form and their match form and their match pace. And with Atalanta the other evening, I thought they played extremely well in the first half, so the manager will be looking for that same type of performance. Although it's minutes under the belt, minutes on the pitch for every single player, this is getting serious now, so this is the last game he has in which to really identify his starting 11.
Yeah, so I will just remind you that Norwich start with Krul in goal, Aarons, Hanley, Godfrey and Lewis at the back, Tribal and McLean, the two central midfielders, with Stiepermann in that number 10 role that he made his own last season. Buendia and Cantwell, plenty of youth in the wide areas to begin with. Timu Pukki up front. Substitutes for Norwich City: goalkeeper Farman, Sam Byram, Patrick Roberts, Mario Vrancic, Moritz Leitner, Onel Hernandez, Philip Heiser, Josip Dermich and Dennis Shrabeni. No Tim Closer for Norwich today. Daniel Farke saying they don't want to take any chances with him. They want to make sure he's ready for the first game of the season, and they felt he might benefit from a rest today. The Toulouse team, they've got some well-known names on the bench in terms of the Premier League. Yaya Sanogo, the former Arsenal striker, Max Gradel, once of Bournemouth and Leeds, and John Bostock, who made his debut with Crystal Palace as a 15-year-old and got a big money move to Tottenham, but it never quite happened for him. He is on the bench for them. Their team starting with Baptiste Reina in goal, then they've got Kelvin Amian, Glenn Shoji, Aaron Lea Aseka, Quentin Boisgard, Izega Sela, the captain Mathieu de Savy, Augustine Rogel. They've got Koulouris, the Greek international, who they signed in June, top scorer in the Greek league last season. Efthemos Koulouris, then Sam Sana and Jean-Victor Makengo completing their starting lineup. If you want to follow the first half of this game, make sure you're tuned into the live commentaries page on the BBC Sport website, or you can watch it on Norwich City's YouTube channel along with our commentary. But now on BBC Radio Norfolk, if you're listening to us on the radio, we're going to take you back to Guiseley, where Kings Lynn Town need an equaliser. It's the first day.
Well, here we go, Cameron. It's time to get behind the boys with the oldest, the greatest football song in the world. 3, 2, 1.
Commentary of Norwich City's final pre-season friendly. A good rendition of On the Ball City ringing out. We said this the other night, Gossy. It always looks a bit odd when this place isn't full because we're so used to seeing it packed. So this game it doesn't mean everything, but there'll be players like Todd Cantwell, like Kenny McLean, where there's competition for places in midfield, who'll really see this as an opportunity to lay down a marker. Is that about right?
Absolutely, everybody's going to be given a chance in this pre-season friendly. It doesn't matter what the attendance is. These players are the luckiest players in the world to have the chance to run out at Carrow Road and play football. And as I've mentioned before, the Premier League season's so very, very close. It is a competition for places. So you're looking for form, you're looking for people to really excel. They're in the shop window with the manager watching. They want to be selected next Friday evening. And it's a chance for everybody. And most certainly, you mentioned there Todd Cantwell. He's really impressed over the pre-season period. Most certainly against Atalanta when I watched him play. In a different foreign position, I think, that he's taken at the moment, but he's such an ability. He can pass and move just as well as the other midfield players, and he can find spaces and find good opportunities to get forward. So he's made an impressive start to pre-season. Whether the manager chooses him next week remains to be seen. Let's see how this game unfolds.
Well, Norwich in their yellow and green, Toulouse all in, I'd say purple, but I noticed their nickname is Le Voilette, the Violets, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. Norwich City have possession. They're going from right to left as we look at it, attacking the river end in the first half. A loose pass there from Ben Godfrey. It's been collected by Dosevi, who is the captain of Toulouse, and the ball now in the midfield with Sam Sana, who comes forward. Norwich dropping deep here on the edge of the penalty area, absorbing some early pressure from the French side, who've got Makengo away on the left-hand side, level with the Norwich penalty area, getting a cross in. It's blocked by Tom Tribal, and the ball goes behind for a corner to Toulouse very early on in this game, inside the first minute and a half. And that role there that Tom Tribal is playing, the role where you'll need a bit of midfield bite. We know there's no Alex Tetty. That looks as if it might be his at Anfield, and we'll see whether that's a position that Norwich are lacking in. We'll talk to Gossi about that in a moment. Free kick on the left-hand side, played in high from the corner from Toulouse, up in the air by Hanley. It lands on the edge of the penalty area. Toulouse try to get it back in the box, but the clearance now complete by Jamal Lewis, and emphatically so. A few fans worried about a lack of bite in the Norwich midfield for this season. Gossi, do you go along with that, or do you think Tribal can do the job?
No, I've been impressed all last season with Tribal and Leitner. I just think they're very good, strong players. I don't think there's going to be any weakness in there, because the way the Premier League, they play their football, it's pass and move, it's two-touch, it's in little triangles, it's possession football in that mid-zone. And I think all 4 options that the manager has, or even 5 in that mid-zone, do very, very well and are very capable of keeping the ball. They maintain possession well. You mentioned bite, you mentioned a bit of aggression. Well, again, that remains to be seen how they can adjust to every team they play. The physical aspects of the Premier League will be increased. People always say that, Chris, that it is just sheer talent. There's work rate and there's aggression attached to Premier League footballers as well. They're going to be looking okay. I'm one for passing the ball and moving and getting into space. In the midfield area, certainly with Tribal and certainly with Leitner, I'm a big Leitner fan. And let's just see how that one runs as well. But at the moment, Norwich have settled really, really well. They're passing and moving, and they're on the attack now.
They're coming forward with Jamal Lewis, played in behind the Toulouse defence for Pukki to chase. He gets immediately challenged there by the defender Rogel, and behind it goes for a corner. The Uruguayan, Rogel shutting the door on Pukki, but even though it's by no means full, notice the roar there as Pukki was sent away, and there does seem a little bit extra in the atmosphere this afternoon than there was when Norwich played at Atalanta the other night. But a corner for the Canaries, their first of the afternoon. This game that kicked off at 4 o'clock, so we're in the very early stages, nearly 4 minutes gone. Buendia plays the corner short to Pukki, who works it back to Buendia on the left-hand side. Neat football from Norwich. Buendia eventually crosses. The ball gets rather stuck under the feet of McLean, and then Hanley's shot is parried. Norwich getting the shot in, not particularly convincingly, and it's going to be brought away now by Toulouse and De Savi, their captain. But a corner for either side in the opening 4 minutes here. Lively stuff.
No, that was nice. I like that. A short corner, Campbell involved, Buendia involved. Short, sharp, quick football around the penalty area. Cross came in, chance was created. That was good stuff.
Ball is back with Reynet, the goalkeeper for Toulouse, who clears long. It's one of those where it's difficult to imagine quite how far along fitness levels and preparations Toulouse are, because their season doesn't start for another couple of weeks. The Premier League starting very early, and I've noticed that we've had Jurgen Klopp complaining about that this week, how early the English league season starts, given that his Liverpool team play Norwich next Friday night. I thought those were interesting comments. 0-0, and the ball is with Kenny McLean in the midfield for Norwich City, who pivots and plays the ball back to Ben Godfrey, and now Hanley. No Zimmerman, of course, for the first game of the season, we know that. No Vrancic by the looks of it. He's on the bench today, but Daniel Farke doesn't think he'll be fit enough to start that first game of the season. Stiepermann, typically combative, putting the foot in there, and conceding a foul against the Guinea international Izaga Silla, who hasn't had much of a summer break because he played at the recent Africa Cup of Nations, and it's a free kick to Toulouse in their left-back position. 0-0, and it's a free kick to the visitors at Carrow Road. We watch the ball go back now to the Toulouse goalkeeper Reynet, and he plays a 1-2 with one of his defenders, and then with the left foot plays it up towards the halfway line. It's broken here for Toulouse, loose inside the midfield. Don't know whether Norwich can get to this one. They can't on this occasion, and it's an opportunity for Toulouse to come forward on this right hand side with De Savi. Brings the ball towards the corner of the Norwich penalty area. McLean goes in for the challenge but doesn't win the ball, and they're able to work it back now onto this right hand side once more. De Savi, this right winger, seems to be at the centre of everything Toulouse are doing in an attacking sense at the moment. Tackle comes in from Jamal Lewis, and it rolls out of play for a throw in to Toulouse, level with the Norwich penalty area. As much as we want to see Norwich attacking and getting goals, it's all about whether they can defend well as well and keep themselves organised given the challenges that are ahead in the Premier League. Here's Stiepermann on the left hand side, wins a throw in there for Norwich City in their own left back position. So they've seen that attack off, and it is a test of organisation, isn't it, particularly in the Premier League, because you're not going to get away with the sort of mistakes that you might in the Championship.
No, that is for sure. The level is going to be stepped up quite considerably when the lads will soon find out about that. But that particular set of play, they were organised, they were compact, they pressed well as individuals and twos and threes. They closed off Toulouse, they prevented them getting a cross in, and they did all their job very well. And this is the togetherness that's coming in that I've seen certainly from last season, but again from Atalanta, and now the start of this particular game. There's no spaces, Chris, there's no gaps. People are closing well, they're moving the ball well, everybody's comfortable. It's a good start for Norwich.
Yeah, in terms of those players we can rule out for the start of the season, I mentioned Vrancic probably not going to start it. We know that Teti will miss the start of the season as well. He's not been able to feature in pre-season just recently, so that does make one or two of the selection issues slightly easier for Daniel Farke, you would think. Here's Lewis on the left-hand side for Norwich City. Plays the ball back now to McLean. Neatly done, and you can hear the applause from the supporters appreciating that. Godfrey now plays a lovely raking ball forward and picks out Aarons on the right-hand side. Aarons has been tackled by Silla, but the ball has gone behind for a corner, and that's something that Norwich did to good effect last season, switching the play quickly from left to right. Godfrey and Aarons, the two youngsters, quite an understanding they have, and Norwich have won a corner.
Yeah, that's clever play again, and again, duplicate of last season. Similar things happened against Atalanta. The ball was condensed on the left-hand side. Max Aarons kept his width, progressed down the right-hand side. Godfrey with a terrific 30-yard pass, and he was in space.
Corner comes in from the right for Norwich City. Oh, real chance for Hanley. He's headed that one into the ground, straight down his feet. I think it's been blocked and then cleared away by one of the defenders. But inside the first 10 minutes, Hanley's had a couple of chances. He's had
Good
one
chance.
saved by the goalkeeper. That one he got to, and I was waiting for him to really thump that header goalwards, but he just seemed to plant it straight down into his own boots there, didn't he?
Yeah, nice delivery. Here comes Pookie down the left-hand side.
But the flag
Offside.
intervenes. I should just mention for this one, Gossi, we don't have VAR. They trialled it here on Tuesday night when Norwich played Atalanta, and we saw the referee standing in the middle of the pitch with his fingers to his earpiece a couple of times, reviewing things, but they're not testing it out for this one. So
Well,
old-fashioned football.
We've got to get used to that. That's something us...
Oh, mistake possibly there at the back by Toulouse. No, goalkeeper Reynet able to clear, just as Pookie looked like he was going to close down and steal the ball. High one to be won on halfway by Tribal. One of the Toulouse players going down, appealing for the foul, but referee Kevin Friend is waving play on, and Toulouse have eventually emerged with the ball. Out it goes to the left-hand side. De Savy now popping up over that side of the field. Busy. Wasgaard gets a touch, and eventually the ball goes all the way to the left, and Norwich have some defending to do. Tribal does it well. Perfectly stationed on the edge of his own penalty area. Intercepts, and the Canaries back in possession. McLean hemmed in the right-back position, but calm. Works the ball to Max Aarons. They play a 1-2, and then McLean has the confidence to take on a player. Despite being at right back, and then Grant Hanley floats it nicely to the near side, the Norwich left, and Jamal Lewis able to set off on one of his trademark runs into opposition territory. Still 0-0.
Yeah, McLean and Tribal have certainly settled into the game nicely. The whole team has, actually, in the way they're pressing and moving. They're really keeping the head of Toulouse at the moment, who are not really causing any problems. Pressing well, which is really, really important. They've got to make a decision as a team whether they're going to press in the Premier League high up or whether they're going to drop off, Chris. I think there'll be a mixture of both of those things, but that particular occasion, from what they've shown so far in this game, they're doing very, very well.
Lovely back heel from Stiepermann. That sets Lewis away on the left-hand side. He just gets tackled, though, as he gets to the position where he's level with the Toulouse penalty area and was thinking about crossing the ball in. But we've seen some promising attacks from Norwich City. Now Buendia working hard to make sure the ball stays deep inside Toulouse territory. And Buendia now has the ball at his feet. Left corner of the penalty area. Stiepermann rolls it on. Buendia chases it but won't get there. And it should be dealt with by the French side. But just the presence of Buendia, just using his body well there to win the throw-in.
Well done, Buendia. He saw that the ball was lost on the left-hand side. He ran 25 yards to close it down, to win the ball back, and win a throw-in for Norwich on the far left-hand side. Well done.
And
showed a lot of work right there.
Subsequently won a corner because he picked the ball up on the left-hand side, rode a challenge, realised the defender had touched the ball, and so let it go behind. And we've already seen Hanley go close a couple of times in the opening 11 minutes. And now another set piece. Buendia floats it into the penalty area. Godfrey got his head to that one. It's blocked. There's a crowd of players on the edge of the 6-yard box. Hanley goes in. Godfrey goes in. They can't force it through. That was more like a pushover try in the rugby, wasn't it, than a football match and a corner. But by sheer weight of numbers, Toulouse have got that ball away.
Well, we got a score from a corner or set piece. The Toulouse centre-halves and indeed all their defenders on set pieces have just stood still. This is their zone marking rather than picking up their man. And Norwich have got runs on them. Hanley especially has got a run on the ball.
The ball is loose on halfway, and Toulouse have emerged with it, and it's Makengo coming forward here, central position. He's run a long way here unchallenged, up to the edge of the penalty area, shoots, and the ball goes harmlessly wide for a goal kick. Bit of concern about how open Norwich were there. Makengo, the midfielder, was able to run quite a long way with the ball unchallenged, wasn't he?
That's the problem. If you need a holding midfield player in that space, as people press and they win the ball, they lost it. Instantly they won it, they lost it again, and that let Toulouse come out in the midfield zone and let this chap run at the defenders. But it wasn't really dangerous, Chris. I thought there was everything taken care of. There was no problems, no serious danger for Norwich then. But you're right, you've got to be a little bit more compact. And let's maybe talk in a communication from the centre halves to the midfield players.
Makengo, who made that run, is on loan from Nice. He's a French youth international, under 21. He's just joined Toulouse this summer, looking to try and improve on a 16th place finish in the league last season. And here's Tribal onto Stiepermann for Norwich City, accelerating through the midfield, tries a little ball into Pukki, but just slightly under hit, and Toulouse able to deal with that through Augustin Rogel. And the French team back in possession of the ball inside their own half. Norwich pressed very high here though. Ben Godfrey's the furthest outfield player back for Norwich, and he's on the halfway line, and it works well. Norwich have squeezed it and won a throw in here.
Three important players for me there, Tribal and then Stiepermann and then Pukki. The way Tribal won it, fed Stiepermann in a space off the front one, who is Pukki. Pukki, really impressive run again, diagonally into the 18-yard box. Very nearly got onto that ball from Stiepermann.
Stiepermann with a nice touch there to Buendia on the right-hand side. Now Campbell, edge of the penalty area, looking for Buendia, who gets tackled. Toulouse have won the ball. Promising football from Norwich as they're giving it back here, deep inside Toulouse territory. And the Norwich fans are applauding, offering encouragement for their side in this final friendly. Campbell hits the deck. Free kick to Toulouse, to Norwich City, I should say, after the foul by Toulouse on the right-hand side. And Campbell, lovely goal in midweek against Atalanta. Maybe when you looked at the Norwich squad on paper at the start of pre-season, you thought Campbell might have to be patient, but I wonder how much he's played his way into the thoughts of Daniel Farke with the way he's performed in pre-season. That is what this time of year is all about, and it's a free kick to Norwich. We'll get Gossi's thoughts on that in just a moment. But we're going to watch Buendia bend this free kick into the Toulouse penalty area, easily dealt with in the end by Sam Sana, and the ball's out of play for a throw in. We've seen with Daniel Farke, he doesn't necessarily respect reputations. He'll pick young players if they're on form, so Campbell's got every chance, hasn't he, of featuring at Anfield?
Yeah, the new season starts, and it starts in the day one of pre-season, and everybody's judged accordingly, exactly the same. Whether you played every single game last year, Chris, or whether you played 2 games last year. It was such an impressive season, an awesome results that they put together. They were terrific in every sense of the word, but it's a new season. Everyone starts afresh, and you've got to prove yourself. And I've been really, really impressed with the confidence of Cantwell.
Hanley goes long, headed away by the defence for Toulouse. McLean goes looking for it and does well to keep that alive, actually, deep inside Toulouse territory. It finds its way to Cantwell. A lovely flick onto Pukki inside the penalty area, but he's being tightly marked and is unable to get away from the defender and get the shot in. And Toulouse emerge with the ball up towards the halfway line. Full of running, lots of pacey, athletic players by the looks of it in this Toulouse team. Cadwell comes in, takes the ball, throw in to Toulouse on this near side there, right. They look full of running, don't they, this Toulouse team, from what we've seen?
Well, full of running. They're a bit dodgy at the back, may I say. That's a good term to use, dodgy. But they just do pick up spaces. I think Norwich can capitalise on that. But when they go forward, they're looking okay. They look comfortable, and they're moving the ball quite well. But I think they're not hurting Norwich at the moment.
They have a chance to now with the ball on the left-hand side. Now it comes into a more central position. Tribal gets the challenge in. The attack hasn't gone away yet, though, and it's come to Amian on this right-hand side. Now to Savy, level with the Norwich penalty area for Toulouse, taking on Jamal Lewis, who makes the challenge, and it's a fair one, and he wins the ball. That is a brilliant bit of play there from Jamal Lewis, under all sorts of pressure. And he's been allowed now to run up towards the halfway line, pretty much unchallenged. Thinks better of the ball forward. He's gone back to Kenny McLean inside his own half. But that was a really good piece of defending from Jamal Lewis, who has been, really for the last year and a half, pretty much an ever-present in the Norwich team. 68 appearances for the first team now at the age of 21. Only the one goal, though, but that was against Chelsea.
Just wondered, Chris, whether there's a fitness thing there. He did incredibly well to win the one-on-one situation with the winger, won the ball, came out, 35 yards of space in front of him. And he's stopped running and give it backwards. He's holding his hands on his hips at the moment. I'm just thinking if he's breathing a little bit. It is pre-season, and that's probably what the manager expects, that people are not going to be fully match fit as we are watching this game here. But I think with him, he could have drove forward another 20 yards, committed defenders there.
Doesn't usually need a second invitation. That's a good ball forward from him.
Correct,
He's found Kenny
no.
McLean. Back to Tribal.
He's normally right at it, isn't he? And he's on the ball now.
He's almost the furthest player forward for Norwich here, Lewis, on the left-hand side. Campwell with him for company. Campwell plays the ball into the penalty area. It's the right idea, but it's just bounced away from Kenny McLean and through to the goalkeeper. But McLean straight away offering a thumbs up to Campwell for just offering that inviting ball over the top of the defence.
Well, I would have thought Tribal will hold. McLean will go forward. That's the first time I've seen him run forward beyond the strikers, given an option to the guy on the ball. Unfortunately, Campwell didn't quite pick him out, but the idea was good. Little round of applause from the crowd. They know that the meaning was there. Everything does seem comfortable for Norwich at the moment, and it does feel like a pre-season friendly, the way they're keeping it and moving it. The pace isn't quite as high as what we know it's going to be when we start the Premier League off, but this is good stuff from Norwich. They're getting a lot of confidence with ball retention.
I was watching Jamal Lewis. He's right down below us, so easy to spot from here on the gantry. And you're right, just sort of seems to be checking himself at the moment. I wonder whether in winning that challenge by the corner flag a moment ago, he took a little bit of a knock, and he's just trying to make sure that he's running that off and isn't too badly affected by it. But he's done well enough there to work it along the left-hand side. Stiepermann goes to ground. I think he was looking for the free kick, but it was a foul. And it's a free kick to Norwich City, halfway inside their own half. And Stiepermann, what an important player he became last season. And I think this time last year, if you'd said that he was going to be filling the number 10 role that James Maddison had vacated, I don't think too many people would have backed him to do the job that he did. But he was wonderful last season, and I'd be very surprised, barring an injury, if he doesn't start in that role at Anfield on Friday night.
He's one of the players I've picked out who could be a real problem to the opposition next season, or this season coming. I think he picks up a role in space. He's a tall guy, he's physical, he's strong, he'll be good in the air, but you don't imagine him dropping off that front two or front one in space to turn and then run at the opposition. However, he's done it incredibly well last season. He started off well now, and I think he could be a big asset to this team going forward.
I was just trying to set Aarons away on the right-hand side, and I thought for a moment he was going to get on the end of it, but he just couldn't get it under his spell, and the ball is out of play for a throw-in to Toulouse in their own left-back position. Now on BBC Radio Norfolk today, we're providing commentary of Kings Lynn's first game in National North away at Guiseley. I can tell you they've just gone 2-0 down in that game, so disappointing start at a new level for them. Here we're watching Norwich City preparing for the Premier League and drawing 0-0 with Toulouse at the moment. Here's De Savy coming forward again, looking dangerous, plays the ball in front of Amian, who's come forward, does well to catch up with the ball deep inside the Norwich half, takes on Lewis and Godfrey, and it needs Kenny McLean in all-action style to come across, slide and take the ball and put it out of play for a throw-in.
Now, Kenny McLean's done well. He's shielding up in front of the back very, very well, like he had a good example just then, and he's closing down and dictating to the other midfield players too. He seems quite a solid player today.
On the right-hand side once more for Toulouse. Campwell doing a good job, not winning the ball, but just pressing and forcing Toulouse back, and in the end winning a throw-in. He did well there because Kelvin Amiant, the right-back for Toulouse, was well forward when he picked up that ball, and Campwell just forced him back, and by the time Norwich won the throw-in, they're about 30 yards from their own goal. So that was a decent bit of work from the Deerham boy, who did feature in 24 of Norwich's league matches last season, having not played a league game at all when the season started. Campwell and Pukki linking up well on halfway. Campwell then just trying to force the issue and play it early, and Toulouse were well set, but Tribal's gone in and won the ball, and now Bendia sets Pukki away. This is Pukki, through on goal, keeper's off his line. Pukki can't quite squeeze it past him. Goalkeeper Raynet there wasn't quite sure whether to come off his line and how far to come off his line. And when eventually he came to meet Pukki, Pukki got the shot away but didn't really get much power behind it, and it's a decent save.
Now well done again, pressing from Norwich City, winning the ball in important, dangerous areas, coming forward, setting Pukki on his way, terrific run forward, always had the extra pace on the defender. Goalkeeper come out, made it difficult for him, unfortunately couldn't make contact with it, but another good opportunity really for Pukki to get into the game, because I don't think he's getting in as much as what he wants to at the moment.
0-0. Nearly halfway through this first half. Norwich defending the Barclay end, and finding their rhythm, finding their confidence, passing the ball around nicely. There's a quarterback's ball forward from McLean. It's a decent one as well. He's picked out Stiepermann on the right-hand side, and Stiepermann is side down by Isiaga Silla, the Guinea international. That was a nasty one, it really was. And Norwich certainly don't want any injuries in this game. Hopefully Stiepermann will be okay. I mean, he's made of stern stuff. He limped off at Luton last Saturday and was okay ultimately. But he will have felt that one. You don't really need challenges like that going in a pre-season friendly, do you?
Both clubs are fully aware that this is a friendly match and you go easy with your 50-50 tackles. That defender there was clumsy. His timing was out. He took Stiepermann out. He's okay. He's walking away. But what a terrific passage of play again from Kenny McLean. I've been impressed so far with him. A terrific 40-yarder, that one, straight to Stiepermann's feet.
Buendia's free kick, right-hand side, high delivery. Goalkeeper punches it up in the air and is then clattered by Hanley. But the referee allows play to go on, and the header comes in from McLean off the line. Pukki gets it across. Godfrey can't force the ball in, and Toulouse once again have scrambled it away. I think you're quite right about the set pieces, Gossi. Everyone that Norwich have put into the box has caused panic, hasn't it?
Oh, they're all over the place. They're there in numbers, but they're stood in space, static. So the running attacker is going to have time and more options to win the ball than you are if you're standing on your feet, flat-footed. Again, another opportunity goes by for Norwich. They deserve to be 1 up or 2 up by now.
Certainly could have scored a couple from the set pieces, and that one where Pukki was clean through as well. That one, I think the goalkeeper, Baptiste Reynet, thought he was going to get a free kick with Hanley.
I agree. I thought the referee was going to give a foul there.
Aarons has just been caught out here slightly by Leia Iseka on the left-hand side. Iseka, I thought, was going to burst away there, but thought better of it and has played the ball back into his own half, and eventually they have control again back inside their own half to Toulouse. Up front, the other man we were just talking about, Aaron Leia Iseka, is actually the brother of Michy Batshuayi of Chelsea. He's taken his mother's surname rather than their father's surname, but they are brothers. And Batshuayi looks as if he might get a bit of a shot at Chelsea this year under Frank Lampard, but we shall see. Now, an opportunity here for Toulouse. Hanley has been caught out. Forward they come. The ball comes to De Savey on the edge of the penalty area. Tribal gets a touch on it, and it's enough to take it away from the Toulouse players who were hovering, and it's been cleared away by Norwich City. But for how long? Because those little mistakes, like that one from Hanley, they're the sort of things that might get punished in the top flight.
But the recovery was quick. The recovery was good. They cleared the ball, they closed the man down, and in numbers they're not giving anything to Toulouse.
Sam Sana coming forward. Ball played into the feet of the Greek striker Koulouris, who was the top scorer in the Greek league last year. A little bit too physical there. PAOK he was playing for last season, and he's giving away a free kick.
I think with Atalanta and Toulouse, they're playing against opposition that are fairly similar, I would have thought, to the way every Premier League would set up and the way they play. So it is good competition. I think they are 2 really good friendlies for Norwich to play before the league starts. Toulouse a little bit more disappointing than Atalanta. I thought they had more about them the other evening when Norwich played them, although Norwich were a far better team all over in the first half. And again this evening, or this afternoon, we can see a Toulouse side who look very good and comfortable on the ball, occasionally have the opportunity to break, but Norwich at the moment defensively are just far too strong.
Look at that from Godfrey, another lovely ball. At least it looked a lovely ball. Picking up on the halfway line, hitting it again 30 or 40 yards over to the right hand side, and Aaron's got there but just couldn't keep it in play, and that was an inch or 2 away from being a fantastic pass from Godfrey and really getting Norwich going. But
the Toulouse manager, Chris, must be going crazy. Aptly named Alan Casanova, the manager of Toulouse, because both left back and left winger and left midfield player for Toulouse are coming 40 yards inside, leaving Max Aarons a whale of space to get into. And again, you can see the ball switches quickly, it causes them problems.
Casanova, it's the perfect name for a friendly, really, isn't it? Alan Casanova, the Toulouse
great
manager.
Name. I've looked down their list, and that's the best name on the list.
He doesn't look like he's particularly living up to his name at the moment. He's going crazy over on that far side, hopping around from one foot to the other, and I don't blame him, because Norwich, although it is 0-0, so we can't get too carried away, but Norwich have played some good stuff here and are causing problems for the French side, who I would expect not to be quite as good as Atalanta, because Atalanta finished 3rd in Serie A last season, didn't they, and will be playing in the Champions League. Toulouse 16th in the French top flight, but in decent enough shape, comfortable enough on the ball, and it is with Ben Godfrey at the moment, the Norwich City youngster at the back. Gives it to Tribal. Everyone behind the ball for Toulouse, but Tribal has still managed to find Stiepermann through the middle towards Campwell, who was slightly off balance as he collected the ball there, and that's allowed Toulouse the chance to steal it back. And they work it up towards halfway. Referee spotted something, a push. He's given a free kick to Toulouse just on halfway. But again, you looked at the pitch there, and Toulouse looked well organised. They had plenty of men back behind the ball, yet Norwich were able to pretty much play it between through the middle.
Toulouse are playing a 4-4-2 as far as I can see in terms of the three lines, and Tribal and Stiepermann must have such a great relationship, and spoke about it many a times in training and in the changing room, because every time he gets the ball, Tribal in midfield, he's looking for Stiepermann. And Stiepermann did great by dropping off 5-10 yards, looking round his shoulder, knowing that he's not picked up, he is in space, receives the ball, turns, and it's dangerous for Toulouse, and then Norwich on the attack even more.
More bad news for Kings Lynn Town, I'm afraid. In National North, first day of the season, they're now 3-0 down away at Guiseley. That one was a 3 o'clock kickoff, so they're well into the second half there. Norwich with some defending to do. On the left-hand side, the ball comes into the penalty area. Hanley gets a foot to it, clears. Gathered again over on that left-hand side by Silla, who instead allows the ball to go out for a throw-in, which he can then take. Tribal with some defending to do. The ball crossed towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Campbell gets a foot to it. He's cleared it away as far as the edge of the penalty area, then goes in for the header to try and just smuggle it further away from goal, but Toulouse have possession back on the right-hand side here with Amiens. Campbell busy again, forces the ball out of play, and it's a throw-in to Toulouse. It comes to Boisgard in the midfield. Boisgard, again, slightly reluctant to really go for the jugular here, plays it back towards the halfway line. That allows Campbell to get a foot in, but Boisgard's picked it up again now. He's gone forward on the right-hand side, taking on Jamal Lewis, who makes the challenge, and the Northern Ireland international emerges with the ball and leaves Boisgard in a bit of a heap there. A player who was loaned to Pau, who play in the French 3rd division last season, Boisgard, so probably has a little bit of work to do in pre-season to catch the manager's eye. And Jamal Lewis won that battle between them, all ends up. Here's an opportunity on the right-hand side for De Sevi. Gets the ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and the low shot comes in eventually. It's Tame from Coularis, about 20 yards straight at Tim Krul, who hasn't had an awful lot to do as yet, has he, the Dutch goalkeeper?
No, they're not hurting Norwich at all. I think Norwich played the containing game there in that period of play in the last 2 minutes. Toulouse kept the ball very, very well, but they weren't hurting Norwich, and Norwich with no need to throw in and dive in with silly tackles. They just contained them, pushed them backwards, pushed them wide. But what I did notice when Norwich didn't have the ball, that Stiepermann is dropped in space. Wherever he goes, he's not picked up. Not at all. Even now I'm watching him, he is in space. So if they can just identify that and get it to his feet, then there may be an opportunity to create more chances.
Here comes Lewis on the left-hand side, well forward to Campbell, left edge of the penalty area. Glorious sunshine now at Carrow Road as Norwich try to build another attack with still 15 or so minutes to go until the break. Campbell on the left gets tackled, and Norwich will settle for the throw-in. Taken to Godfrey on halfway. Godfrey now to Tom Tribal. Buendia takes a touch, rides one challenge but can't keep control of the ball, then goes looking for it, but Toulouse really should have emerged with the ball there, but the work rate of Buendia and Stiepermann was faultless, and they've got the ball back when they really didn't have any right to. And here is Buendia, surrounded by Toulouse players. Must have had 4 around him at one point, and he's won a free kick.
And I think he did that, Chris, because he's frustrated about not getting the ball to his feet. He's on the ball now, it's a quick free kick. He's got it at his feet, he's knocked it wide, but I think he's frustrated at not receiving it and not getting it. And you can argue the same with Pukki. He's not had many touches in the game. Stiepermann more than the other 2 lads. So Buendia's run 30 yards to close it, tackle, win it back, just to get a touch. Is there something that we can do now to get those 3 players on the ball quicker and faster from the back and from the midfield zones?
Yeah. Norwich playing some attractive football. Nothing wrong with the commitment, the work rate, all of that. But just lacking that cutting edge at the moment. A ball in behind there from Jean-Victor Makengo, the Toulouse player, but overhit, and it's gone through to Tim Krul. Be interesting to see whether Krul does get the start at Anfield on Friday. I mean, his Premier League experience, 157 Premier League games, Tim Krul. That is so many more than everybody else in the Norwich squad. That could be vital, that Premier League experience that he has got. Ball is with Hanley for Norwich City, out towards the right-hand side. Aarons has found McLean, who's having an adventure forward here, puts the ball into the penalty area. Campbell's looping header is lovely, and it's tipped over the crossbar by goalkeeper Rayner. Lovely move from Norwich City. Campbell's header, looping header, tried to get it over the goalkeeper and probably just didn't quite get in good enough contact, and the keeper was able to backpedal and tip it over the bar, but that was good football.
Good from Cantwell, because he read the situation and he tucked in as far as he could. He made a diagonal run for the ball to come in. All he could do was head the ball. He didn't have time to bring it down because he was being picked up so quickly. Keeper made a decent save. Unlucky from Norwich, but again, here we go. This static zone defending.
Buendia's corner from the right for Norwich City. Delivered deep, headed by Hanley. Chance for Godfrey, and he's put it in, but the flag is up for offside. Norwich have been looking dangerous from set pieces, from free kicks, from corners. We don't have VAR today, so there's no chance of having another look at that in terms of the referees anyway. But it was a header from Hanley, who's been dominant from the set pieces. Landed on the edge of the 6-yard box and it was headed in. We do get another chance to have a look at it here. I think he was clearly offside from that angle, Godfrey. So no hard luck story there. No need to consult the VAR even if we had it for that one. But again
for me, it was straight off the training ground defensive situation to be in for Toulouse, because they didn't have anyone on the post on a corner against. The ball was drilled further than the penalty spot, heading towards the 18-yard box. And as soon as that ball went that direction, all the Toulouse players pushed out as a whole unit, capturing Norwich offside.
Stiepermann picks up a loose ball in the centre circle. He's got opportunities either side. He's just lifted it over the top to Pukki, and once again the flag goes up. That one looked a tighter call. I think maybe Pukki did just venture forward.
Yeah, that's a tight call, but I love the movement of Pukki. He went the other side of the defender's shoulder. Clever ball into him. Unlucky that it was just offside, but that's good movement and good awareness from Pukki.
And Silla collects the ball for Toulouse on the left-hand side. 0-0. 12 minutes to go to half-time. I think Daniel Farke will be relatively happy with the performance. Must be boiling, Daniel Farke. I'm not sure he's wearing his parka, but he's certainly got a big jumper of some sort over there on that far side of the pitch. Toulouse on the attack, left-hand side. Aaron's back-pedalling. The ball's in the penalty area. Curling effort hit across the face of goal. They want a corner for this to Toulouse. I don't think anybody got a touch on it. Well, no, the officials have decided they did, and it will be a corner for Toulouse. But that was... I don't see Max Aaron's caught out that often, but he was back-pedalling there, and the shot came in. It didn't miss the far post by much, that, did it?
No, that was well played from them, really, Toulouse. But Max Aaron's going to be tested like he was there. Back-pedalling, a fast, quick, tricky winger against him. Corner comes in.
To save his corner, to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed up in the air and then down, and Krul is able just to watch it bounce harmlessly behind. We talked about how dangerous Norwich would be looking from set pieces. It would have been typical if they then conceded a goal from one, but
yeah, conceded. That'll be us, wouldn't it, if we talk that one up? But Max Aaron's, we all know his ability. We all know what season he had last year. Both full backs, we know how good they are. This season they're going to be tested, Chris, hugely defensively more than they are offensively. And that was a good example of a Premier League player, for example, running at you in the 18-yard box, backpedaling. This time the Toulouse winger just got the better of him, but it's a good opportunity for Max to defend. And you know, he needs to keep the ball naturally and be enjoying him, but defensively that's where he's judged. Don't let any crosses come into the box.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle, I think. That's that one between Aarons and Lea Esker on that side. Lea Esker certainly having the better of that last one. Buendia going in on him there, challenging around the halfway line. Hanley stretching, winning a good challenge, and out it goes for a throw-in to Toulouse on halfway. And Norwich getting themselves well set here. We've got 10 minutes to go until the interval. Be interesting to see how much Daniel Farke uses his substitutes today, because one of the things that lets pre-season friendlies down in terms of the spectacle is when the substitutions start coming in their dozens during the second half. Certainly saw that the other night. Norwich lost any remnants of rhythm or pattern against Atalanta. But 6 days out from the start of the season, I wonder whether he might just leave it a little bit and try and maintain the proper rhythm in this game. Although he's not going to take a chance if anyone's got a knock or if he feels somebody else needs a few moments. I'm sure Vrancic will get on the pitch at some point because he hasn't had very much football in pre-season. McLean misses the challenge. Here's Lea Esker getting the ball back eventually to Amian, who's forward from full-back. It comes to Dosevi, the Togo international, on this right-hand side. He crosses the ball into the penalty area, headed up and away by Hanley. Stiepermann can't quite get to the ball the second time. Cleared away high by Norwich City. Back it comes to Silla on that left-hand side, who shows Buendia a clean pair of heels. Crosses early into the penalty area. That's a great save from Krul as Couleres got the shot in. That's the best moment of the game so far from Toulouse. That high ball in from the left-hand side, and Couleres finally found some space around the penalty area. Decent low shot, and Krul was equal to it.
Exactly what I was just talking about there, Chris. There's two good examples. Firstly, Jamal Lewis let his winger drop his shoulder and get a cross in. The ball quickly switches to the other side. It was Buendia doing the covering, but what a fantastic ball in from the Toulouse wide man. Now that's what you're going to get in the Premier League. You've got to stop crosses coming into the box, because if you're so compact in the mid-zone, you want to force the ball out wide to the wide areas. Once it goes wide, don't let the crosses come in.
It was a great cross from Misiaga Silla, a raid forward from left back. Stiepermann now looking for Pukki. He's got him away well here, right channel. Up towards the byline goes Pukki. Brings it under control now. Waits, tries a cross, which is charged down. Aarons takes possession in the penalty area, gets it back to Pukki, across the face of goal, and not far wide. And the keeper, I think, got a touch. So it will be a corner for Norwich City. But Pukki probably had players in better positions there that he might have cut the ball back to. But I think his touches have been few and far between in this game, so he thought he'd have a go. And, well, the form he was in last season, you can't really blame it.
Again, a terrific run from Pukki. Can't sing his praises high enough, really, for his movement around that 18-yard box. Again, gets in near the 6-yard line, crosses in, unlucky Norwich.
Corner left-hand side for Norwich City, delivered by Buendia. Oh, in towards the near post, almost caught the goalkeeper out, but it's one of those that has bounced into the side netting, and that's a waste, really, because from the set pieces so far, the corners, the free kicks, Hanley and Godfrey have been causing havoc. So to have them coming forward and not pick any of them out does seem a bit of a waste.
For me, that was a very tired strike of a football. Buendia, you know how good he is at delivering, you know how good he is on the ball, but I just don't think there's that much sharpness there. He's feeling it a little bit, whether he's not fit enough to get through this first half or not, I don't know. We said the same thing about Jamal Lewis, putting their hands on their hips, looking tired. Lewis actually could have got in the box on the far post there when Pukki had the ball, but was miles away and just didn't have that energy to get in there. Again, it's pre-season, so we've got to get fitter, but I think
Buendia to McLean, 25 yards out, hits a shot, oh, it's there! Norwich take the lead in this pre-season friendly, 7 minutes from half-time. Well-placed shot from Kenny McLean, 25 yards out, bit of space in front of him. He didn't need a second invitation, and the ball is planted in the bottom corner of the Toulouse net. And Norwich deserved that for their play in this opening 38 minutes. It's Norwich City 1, Toulouse 0, and it's Kenny McLean who's got the goal.
A great opportunity there for me to stop talking about what I was talking about, because we both saw McLean in space. He turned, left foot, and just literally passed it into the net. I mean, it was some decent. He's got to be a good 25 yards out, but nothing overhit. Just made sure he struck the ball well with his left foot and hit the target. 1-0 Norwich, and it's only what they deserve, really.
Well, McLean missed the first half of last season pretty much through injury. Came back into the side in the new year. And by the end of it, he was keeping out Brancic, he was keeping out Leitner, which was no mean feat. He became an important player last season, Kenny McLean.
And I think he's done well tonight. He deserves that goal. He's put in a really cracking performance this first 45 minutes.
Norwich in front. Kenny McLean in the bright summer sunshine at Carrow Road, finding the bottom corner of the Toulouse net. And the Canaries have the advantage. Here comes Jamal Lewis on the left-hand side. Corner of the penalty area. Takes on the fullback, Amian, who makes the challenge, and it's cleared away and worked towards the halfway line, where Tribal busting a gut to get in. I was worried about Tribal a moment ago. Not long before the goal, there was a crunching challenge on him, and he laid in a heap for a moment. And somebody who's had his injury problems, Tom Tribal, didn't want him to be missing the start of the season, but he's certainly shaken that off. McLean battling, winning a throw-in for Norwich City just down below us as we watch from the gantry in the south stand. A great view of Carrow Road, great view of the pitch, and a throw-in down below us for Norwich City.
Amazing what a goal does, because since that McLean goal, there's been a zip with all the players. They're closing that little bit sharper. Having said that,
they've given the ball away. A mistake there by Norwich City, and Toulouse races forward. Doesn't, again, completely take the game to Norwich City. He's allowed them to recover by playing the ball back, but the attack is still ongoing. De Savy puts it into the penalty area. It's not a good ball. Godfrey comes and blasts it against the attacker who was on rushing. I think the ball then hit Stiepermann and then went behind for the corner. It was a bit of a pinball in the Norwich penalty area. Corner it is, and just undermining themselves slightly there, switching off Norwich City, giving the ball away.
Just as I was singing their praises, they switched off, gave it away. Never mind, but Godfrey could have shown a bit more composure there. There was no need to just drill it against the centre half or the other striker. He could have maybe just touched that past him and come out the area. But never mind, safety first. Toulouse corner. Corner
to Toulouse, which De Savy will take from the right-hand side. Plays the ball into the penalty area at the Barclay end, headed up and away by McLean. De Savy gathers on the right-hand side, crosses, it's charged down. It's going to bounce Nicely for Sam Sannott, though, for Toulouse. Good tackle from Cantwell, who's worked ever so hard in this first half. And out it goes for a throw-in to Toulouse. We're not far away from half-time. 3.5 minutes to go. And a Toulouse throw-in inside the Norwich half. Here's Amian, forward from fullback, tackled by McLean. And off it goes towards the halfway line for Pukki, who's up there on his own at the moment to chase. The ball, though, has gone back to Reynet in goal for Toulouse. Ball at his feet. Passes the ball out. And here's again Shui, the Japanese international. Shoji at the back there. Plays the ball to Makongo. And eventually it goes towards the left-hand side for the French club Toulouse. Makongo playing a little 1-2 with Leia Yeska. And eventually the ball is out on the left-hand side for Norwich to try to defend. Onto Makongo, who's gone into that channel, goes past Buendia, plays the ball across. Godfrey's missed it. Lewis stretching, gets a foot to it. Not away yet, though. Here's De Savey with a chance, and he puts it straight at Tim Krul. Good save again from the Norwich City goalkeeper, but they were stretched again there, Norwich City. Particularly Toulouse seem to be having a lot of joy on that left-hand side, don't they? That's where the balls are coming in from.
Well, overlapping full-back against the winger. Max Aarons tucks in with the winger. Buendia is chasing the runner back and gets done. I've already mentioned in the game he looks a little bit fatigued as the minutes are going by in the end of this first half.
A worry there. Look, Todd Cantwell just feeling his groin after playing the ball away.
Yeah, these are the things that you don't want. People showing lack of fitness is one thing, but you don't want injuries, you don't want pulls and strains. And let's see how Cantwell runs that one off. He's still holding his groin. There isn't that much left of this half.
Well, he'll be desperate to stay on, that's for sure. Jamal Lewis, left-hand side, sweeps the ball across. Stiepermann, one touch to Pukki in the penalty area with his back to goal. Plenty of defenders back, but he's managed to squeeze it forward. Buendia might get there before the defender, not quite. And behind it goes for a goal kick. The defender got ahead to it. I don't think he realised quite how close Buendia was to him. And the Argentine chased the ball and just couldn't quite keep it in play, and it's a goal kick. But there's a great understanding between these Norwich forward players, you know, particularly Buendia, Pukki, Stiepermann. They played together so often last season, and it's still showing, isn't it?
It has done all half, but I think the ball needs to go to him quicker and faster, especially Stiepermann in space when he drops off as that number 10. Pukki's making some terrific runs over the shoulder of defenders. Buendia's working hard. He surprised me tonight with his work rate. I think he has really put a shift in this first 45 minutes. A little bit of frustration that he's not getting it, but he's making himself come into the game more and more.
Cantwell seems to have shaken off that little injury concern because he's determinedly holding on to the ball there up against three defenders, and he's done well to play it towards the right-hand side. Aarons and Stiepermann looking to exchange passes, but Stiepermann's return pass has been intercepted, and that would have left Norwich short at the back, but Toulouse don't take advantage. In fact, they've given it away to Max Aarons. Right-hand side, level with the penalty area. Back to Marco Stiepermann on the edge of the box. He sees Jamal Lewis joining in the attack. Edge of the area. He hits a shot. Goalkeeper saves with his knees, I think, in the end. And behind it goes for another Norwich corner. Good football again from Norwich City, who lead 1-0, remember.
That opportunity came by through just sheer persistence and work rate and a hunger to win the ball back on the far right-hand side. From all the forward line that we've just mentioned, that's what's going to win the game. This particular game, the winning it back. It's not what they can do on the ball; it's what they're doing off the ball, and that was impressive.
Corner. Buendia, left-hand side, delivers into the penalty area, near post, helped on by McLean, cleared away by Toulouse, gathered by Jamal Lewis on the left-hand side, and the referee's going to make that half-time. And it is Norwich City who lead Toulouse by 1-0. Kenny McLean with the strike on 38 minutes. They're not bothering with any stoppage time as far as this game is concerned. And the Canaries go off leading by 1-0. McLean with it, I would say. It's been a useful workout, that, for Norwich City. But would you say, Jerry Goss, that they're just about worth their lead?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they could have scored more goals. I'm really impressed the way they set up. It's been a terrific performance when they haven't been in possession. They've closed down as individuals, they've closed down as groups and as threes and fours. Backline seems very solid. Impressed with Kenny McLean and Tribal. I think they've done really well. Stiepermann is always going to be in space as an outlet, coming off the front 1 or 2 in that number 10 role. He's done incredibly good. Todd Cantwell faded at the end of the game, but is put another good shift in and looks comfortable in possession. Jamal Lewis, Max Aarons tested for the first time that I've seen recently as fullbacks against wingers, and that's going to be even tested even more if they get the nod against Liverpool next Friday night. But it's been a good workout. I think Norwich have done incredibly well at the moment. Bondi, I noticed at the end of the game when the referee blew the whistle, he's scythed the ball some 60 yards down the pitch in his, I think, just sheer frustration that he hasn't had enough possession of it. And no one's getting in the ball quick enough. And I think he's gone chasing the ball around the pitch instead of staying where he is in his position and the ball coming to him. But that doesn't matter. I think the manager will be really pleased with the performance.
I can see that the sub-goalkeeper, Ralph Fearman's getting a workout all of his own at half-time from the Norwich goalkeeping coach, Ed Wootton. Do you think that might mean he's going to get 45 minutes?
Well, here we go again. It's Atalanta all over again. How many subs are going to be used? And I think minutes on the pitch is obviously crucial. And as I mentioned before the game kicked off, it's getting too serious now, where the manager just gives fitness to all his players. He's really got to think about his starting 11. Who is his favourite players to start this big game against Liverpool next week? And if it was me, I'd be playing those players, Chris, all the time for 90 minutes to give them that run out they need. So we'll see. If there is a decision that he's got to make between the goalkeepers, then 45 minutes each again on this last friendly is probably sensible. I think he'll make his decision. In my mind, I think it will be Tim Krul, but that's only my opinion because of experience. There's lots of players that can come on and do a very, very good job. In terms of the subs, I keep saying I'm a fan of Leitner. I'd love to see him in there. We've got Hernandez to come on as well, who's incredible when he gets going. There's too many of them. They've got some really, really good players in their whole squad. But as I keep saying, the manager's got to make a decision, and make a decision pretty quick on his starting 11.
Not long, of course, before Norwich City take on Liverpool on Friday night. Game you'll be able to hear live with us on BBC Radio Norfolk as Norwich City take on the adventure that is the Premier League. The substitutes for this game: Ralph Fearman, the goalkeeper, who's still being warmed up, then Sam Byram, Patrick Roberts, Mario Vrancic, Moritz Leitner, Onel Hernandez, Philip Heiser, Josip Dermic and Denis Shrubeni. They're all on the bench as well. It is the first day of the Football League season today. It's one of those days where it really sinks in that Norwich are in the Premier League, because the Championship has got underway. Got underway last night with that draw between Middlesbrough and Luton. Let me just tell you what's been happening in the Championship today so far in the 3 o'clock games. All of these coming to an end. Barnsley 1, Fulham 0, Blackburn 1, Charlton 2, Brentford 0, Birmingham 1, Millwall 1, Preston 0, Reading 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Stoke 1, QPR 2, Swansea 2, Hull 1 and Wigan 3, Cardiff 2. That is some match by the sounds of it. Still a bit of time left in all of those games. If you're wondering about Ipswich Town, they're 1-0 up at Burton in League One. It's Burton side have been reduced to 10 men in the final few moments. Jordan Rhodes was on the Sheffield Wednesday bench today in their game at Reading, which they currently lead by 2-1. Just looking to see whether Rhodes has come on in that game, because there's still, he hasn't actually, there's still of course all sorts of speculation linking him with a return to Norwich City, and Norwich only have until I think Thursday evening to do their transfer business. Daniel Farke was telling us yesterday he doesn't anticipate a particularly busy time, but we shall see. You never quite know. Gossie, do you think Norwich needs to do anything major this week in terms of the transfer market? Because if you don't do it this week, that's it. You can't do anything until January then, and it's a long time to wait if you've missed something, isn't it?
It is. I think it's a bit too late in the day now to start buying players and bringing them in. I think the manager's kept faith with all the players and the whole squad that did well for him last season. Loan players, free transfer players, signing players. It's amounted to quite a few in the summer months, Chris, but I think the way it is at the moment, I think he's just going to keep with what he's got. The most important signings, in my mind, have been the re-signing, the extensions to all the players who have signed in the summer, that played last year, and deserved that extension to the contract, because I thought they were all unbelievable in their performances. They were outstanding the way they approached every game. To go up as champions, you're a really good team. I can't see much happening, again, if it's going to be loan. But one thing I would point out is that the club is, in my mind, being managed very sensibly in terms of finance. But I think we've learned our lesson from the past, haven't we, where we've got into the Premier League and suddenly millions and millions have got out on players and players' wages, only for us to get relegated that season. I think this season coming, it's been a lot more sensible, and we've never been best suited or more suited to go into a Premier League in my mind. I thought they were so good last year in the Championship. They were playing Premier League standard of football in my mind. And again, that's only me. People have argued with have said they should be spending 10, 15, 30 million on players. Well, the average team in the Premier League last year would spend around about 30 million. So Spurs didn't spend a penny.
And got to the Champions League final.
Exactly. Fulham spent 107. So
yeah, it's not all about the money, is it? We're just about to welcome listeners back on BBC Radio Norfolk who've been listening to Kings Lynn's game. I can tell you, disappointment for Kings Lynn. They've been beaten 3-0 by Guiseley in National North, and listeners to BBC Radio Norfolk are about to rejoin us, and we can tell them all about what they've missed in the first half here, with Norwich City leading Toulouse by 1-0, and then we'll keep an eye on the changes and see whether Norwich City make any changes at half-time as they get ready, of course, for the big Premier League kick-off, which is now just 6 days away. And as ever, you'll be able to hear every Norwich City game on BBC Radio Norfolk this season throughout all the competitions, starting at Anfield on Friday, and then we'll be back here in 2 weeks' time for Norwich City against Newcastle, and then it all really gets going, doesn't it? And we go through that journey with you after that memorable season we had last year when Norwich City were crowned champions. And you just wonder how much that they'll still be riding on the crest of a wave when they kick off on Friday night at Anfield, because they'll want to be excited, but as Daniel Farker was saying yesterday, they can't afford to let the excitement get the better of them. They've got a job to do in the Premier League, and whether that turns out to be a battle for survival or something even more glamorous than that, we'll be there with them, of course, on BBC Radio Norfolk. Goals going in some of the late games in the Championship. We'll run through the final score for you in just a moment. But the big news in terms of local football is that Kings Lynn Town have been beaten 3-0 by Guiseley in their first game in National North, which is a disappointing start for them. They started the game quite well, actually, but ended up conceding a goal in the first half and then a couple midway through the second half, 2 quick goals, and that has meant that Kings Lynn have been beaten by 3-0 at Guiseley on the opening day of the season. They have 2 home games coming up this week, which you'll be able to hear on BBC Radio Norfolk as well, and online as well. They play against Kettering on Tuesday night and then Hereford next Saturday. Still, thanks very much to Nick Bowler and Mark Hurl, and listeners on BBC Radio Norfolk joining us back at Carrow Road, where we have reached half-time in Norwich City's final pre-season friendly against the French club Toulouse, and at half-time it's Norwich City who lead by 1-0. Jeremy Goss has been watching the first half with me, the former Norwich player. Jerry, just quickly, Kenny McLean got the goal, didn't he, on 38 minutes? Lovely goal from 25 yards, and for those that haven't been following the first half, you think Norwich are well worth their lead?
Oh, we do, yeah. I think the manager will be well happy with that performance, although we've got to appreciate it is a friendly, it's a hot day, it's a sticky surface. They've gone through a lot of fitness work in this last 6 weeks, 5 weeks or so. Games have come thick and fast, so they're bound to feel a little bit fatigued coming into this particular one. However, having said that, the organisation has been different class. They look so solid through all the lines. They're pressing well, they're maintaining possession well, and I think there's a real rhythm to they play when you look at the front section of their team, in terms of Pukki and Stiepermann, Bondia, and the surprise of Todd Cantwell forcing his way into what could be a start for him next week. You never know, but he's done incredibly well too. Love the way that Pukki runs off the shoulder of defenders. He's really, really good at that, and I saw that against Atalanta. I've seen it again tonight. Stiepermann, the way he drops off into space whenever the ball is around, he just wanders into space because he knows he's going to get it and turn and move. I think Tom Tribal and McLean have been solid as they can. McLean being more of a defensive blocker and a shielder. Tribal chasing, running, tackling, keeping the ball. McLean's goal was different class in the sense that the way he struck it from sort of 25, 30 yards and just drilled it into the bottom of the corner. He deserved that. He's had a good performance. Max Aarons, Jamal Lewis, okay, coming forward, we know what they can do, but defensively they've been tested maybe like they haven't been tested last season, twice in today's game. They've got to stop them crosses coming in from either flank. Bondia is working his heart out, covering back, overlapping fullbacks. He's chasing the ball to get hold of the ball. I think they could get it to his feet more because he's a dangerous player in the final third. Tim Krul not been tested. I think he's had 2 saves. So overall, Chris, I think Norwich fully deserved their lead, yeah.
1-0 up. We'll have full commentary of the second half. Let's just quickly whiz around a couple of other sporting events that have been taking place. I'm off to Snetterton now. British Touring Car Championships, 3 races tomorrow. Phil Arms has been there for us today watching qualifying. And Phil, a quick summary of what you've seen in terms of Snetterton today. How's it been?
for Team Norwich City.
Online as well, and we're watching Norwich City's last pre-season friendly. They're playing at the French side Toulouse here at Carrow Road, and we'll be joined in a moment by Jerry Goss, who's just gone for a half-time breather after commentating on the first half for us all the way through. And what I'll be able to tell him when he returns is that Norwich have made one change at half-time, and it's the one we were speculating about if you're listening online, and that is that the goalkeeper Tim Krul has played his part for today, and on has come Ralph Fearman, the goalkeeper signed from Schalke on loan over the summer. So he is now in goal. Norwich lead 1-0 here against Toulouse. Kenny McLean, the goal scorer, and they are attacking the Barclay end in this second half. Great 25-yard effort from McLean against a lively and athletic, a quick Toulouse side, but they've left a little bit to be desired defensively, and Norwich have had quite a few chances, particularly from set pieces. And as I say that, they've given the ball straight to Steepman, who plays it across to Pukki, 12 yards out. Pukki just couldn't get it out from under his feet to get the shot in, but that was a horrendous error from Toulouse, who don't seem to have made any changes at half-time. So I'll remind you of their lineup in just a moment. They're on the attack, though, on the right-hand side. Jamal Lewis with some defending to do. The ball played into the Norwich penalty area, and Hanley makes a challenge. The ball seemed to strike him on the hand as it bounced up. Anyway, the shot comes in, and Fairman, the goalkeeper, is called into action and turns it behind for the corner. But action-packed start to this second half. Norwich going close through Pukki. He probably should have got the shot in at the very least. And now Toulouse go straight up the other end, the river end, in their all-violet strip. And they win a corner, which comes in high from the right-hand side towards the near post. Tribal heads it down. Shooting opportunity from Sam Sannott. Blocked. Comes back out of the penalty area to Silla, who caused a few problems on the left-hand side in the first half. High hanging ball from him into the penalty area. Easy for Ralph Fearman, the 30-year-old goalkeeper, to come and get. And then overarm the ball to Max Aarons. Krul made a couple of good saves in the first half, actually. I suppose if you're being harsh, you'd say they were mainly straight at him, the two saves he made. But he's still got to be there to make them, and the experienced Dutchman was. And Norwich lead 1-0. Kenny McLean, the scorer. Krul in goal. Aarons, Hanley, Godfrey and Lewis at the back. Tribal, McLean and Steepman the midfield three. Buendia and Cantwell wide. Pukki up front. On the bench, Norwich still have Byram, Roberts, Vrancic, Leitner, Hernandez, Heise, Dermich and Shreveni. If Daniel Farker wants to try something out or get another player some minutes in this final pre-season friendly. Notice that Adam Ida, the young striker who's had an impressive pre-season, was playing for the Norwich under-23s in their final pre-season match today. Fearman rolls the ball out from a back pass to the right-hand side, and Grant Hanley finds Max Aarons. On it goes to McLean. Now Buendia, halfway inside his own half. Nice football from Norwich City, and it's Marco Steepman who surges away over the halfway line. Campbell available to the left-hand side. Lewis roaring forward in support. He finds him now. Lewis cuts it back, but can't pick out a yellow shirt, and it's been cleared away by Sam Sannott, and out of play for a throw-in over on the far side for Norwich City. It's their left, and they are level with the Toulouse penalty area as the Canaries attack the Barclay end of Carrow Road against the French club. Here's Tribal onto Jamal Lewis. His route forward blocked by Mathieu de Sevi, Togo international. It's gone out of play for a throw into Norwich. Taken already. Steepman to Lewis. Back it goes towards the halfway line, and Max Aarons, and on now to Grant Hanley. If you are just joining us, Kings Lynn Town beaten 3-0 at Guiseley in their first match at National North level. And if we have a chance between now and 6 o'clock before we go off the air, we'll try and bring you a reaction to that after this game. Here's Buendia fighting Max Aarons on the right-hand side for Norwich City. Aarons is level with the Toulouse penalty area. Tries a couple of step-overs now, Max Aarons. Back to Tom Tribal. Gives it to Aarons again. right corner of the Toulouse penalty area for Norwich City, and they're yellow and green. Buendia finds Campbell in space on the right hand side. His cross stands it up towards the far post. It's a little too deep, but Stiepermann makes something of it and keeps the attack going. He finds Jamal Lewis on the left corner of the penalty area. Lewis not quite sure whether to go backwards or forwards. In the end, it's a short pass to Buendia, who just can't quite play a neat 1-2 with Stiepermann. Toulouse get a touch, but Norwich immediately win it back, and it's Jamal Lewis skillfully coming forward on the left hand side. Lewis heading for the byline. That route forward has been cut off, but he still keeps going here, Jamal Lewis. Eventually it's Campbell on the left wing. Campbell comes into the penalty area, clips it across, headed away by the Japanese defender Shoji. Comes to McLean on the edge of the area. McLean looking to get it further forward to Campbell, but Toulouse have cleared it away despite McLean's best efforts of trying to get the shot in. 1-0 to Norwich City, 4 minutes gone in the second half. Delighted to say Jeremy Goss has made his way back up to the gantry to rejoin us, and he missed a chance at either end really, Jerry. Nothing really to write home about, but Norwich have made the change in goal. Ralph Fearman's come out for the second half as we thought he might, because he was having quite a long warm-up at half-time, and Tim Krul has gone off, but no other changes for either side. And Norwich City in good shape at the moment, leading 1-0. That strike from Kenny McLean. And they're playing some neat attacking football. Atalanta the other night provided a real test for Norwich City. I'd say Toulouse, decent at times, but they don't seem to have the same cutting edge as the Italian side that came here on Tuesday, do they? You can see that they're not quite at the same level from what we've seen so far.
No, I don't think so. They don't look as sharp or as comfortable on the ball. They give it away cheaply. They're trying to do things in a hurry instead of just maintaining possession. And they look all jaded. They're back now as I'm watching the game. They're good units at the back. They're defending well and nice and solid, but no one's really chasing and closing it. It does have that pre-season friendly about it in the way Toulouse are setting themselves up in this particular game. Now they're closing high up to our left back position. So let's just see what happens here when Norwich have won it back.
Toulouse have it now on halfway. Forward they come, but again, once they do get in a promising position, they tend to be quite keen to pass the ball backwards, and that's happened again now, but to good effect, because they've got Isiaga Silla away on the left-hand side. Into the feet now of Lea Ieska. Tribal battling with Lea Ieska and winning the free kick as well. Good determined play from the German. And Lea Ieska, who, if you weren't with us in the first half, it's worth reminding you, is the brother of Michy Batshuayi of Chelsea. He has conceded a free kick there and is cutting quite a frustrated figure after tangling with a determined Tom Tribal.
And friendly or no friendly, if a ball's there to be won, I think Tom Tribal is going to go and win it, and he really showed a lot of aggression to win that ball in the midfield.
Max Aarons, right wing, coming forward for Norwich City, pings it early towards Stiepermann, who all he can do is sort of knock it off the top of his head because it was just slightly too high, but it's been collected by the other fullback, Lewis, on the left-hand side. Tribal now looking for possession, gets it onto Campbell. Tribal then chases it back towards the halfway line, and it's Grant Hanley, the Norwich captain, who gathers the ball. McLean. Norwich sweeping it nicely towards the right-hand side. Max Aarons on the front foot, taking on the fullback Silla, driving the cross in. Pukki sets up Buendia. Oh, he's hit the post. Lovely, crisp, low shot from Buendia. Beat the goalkeeper, all ends up, but it's hit the post and bounced away. Norwich come again with Lewis on the left-hand side. Campbell there. Back to Jamal Lewis now, level with the penalty area. Lewis has found Stiepermann. Into the area it goes. Pukki just can't get the shot away. He's being challenged by Shoji, and then Pukki in his eagerness to win the ball back in the penalty area has committed a foul. Poor old Emi Buendia, that was, you could say it should have been a goal, but he didn't do a lot wrong, did he? Driving that one off the post.
First of all, the first instance they won the ball, they got it wide to Max Aarons in bags of space. They isolated him one-on-one with the fullback versus fullback really, and Max came out on top with his pace and his trickery, delivered a great ball in. It ended up bumping to Buendia, who hit a great shot, should have scored, deserved his goal really, got into good space. Unlucky for Norwich, but the game and the tempo is rest, press for everybody, naturally, because it's still pre-season. They're taking their time, they're not chasing, they're not closing massively, they're conservative energy.
Nice between Buendia and Stiepermann. Campbell sent sprawling to the floor, no foul given, but Buendia is certainly not giving this one up. He's managed to somehow force the ball out to Jamal Lewis on the left-hand side. Buendia, corner of the penalty area. Lewis on the overlap, gets the ball across, and as he does so, he's challenged, and behind it goes for a corner. They just went through the gears there, Norwich City, didn't they? The eagerness of Buendia, who I think seems to be sort of almost inspired on by hitting the post a moment ago. He wasn't letting that one go, was he? kept the attack going, and Norwich have won a corner. And for those that weren't with us in the first half, it's worth telling you, Norwich had some joy from set pieces, didn't they? You weren't impressed with the way Toulouse defended set pieces.
No, look at them now, Chris. They're all zone picking up. They're marking just the space, not the player.
Buendia's corner. It's come off a defender, I think, and has gone behind the other side for another corner.
Never a fan of that. Never a fan of just marking space on corners against the striker. The attacking opposition have got that run and jump on you that can get above you. But they maintain it, they're persistent with it, they're doing it again likewise. Norwich have got 3 runs on this. I would love to see one of the big lads, certainly Godfrey or Hanley, come in and steam this one in.
Buendia, corner from the right this time, delivered towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It is Hanley's header, it's down, and no power on it, and the goalkeeper makes a comfortable save. You could argue he could have had a hat-trick, Hanley, with the headers from set pieces. That one, if he'd got a bit more power on it, he had one that he planted straight on his bootlaces almost, and another one that was saved very early on in the game. So, yeah, decent stuff from Grant Hanley, getting on the end of the set pieces, and I think it's crucial that he gets through this game unscathed, Gossy, because we know that Zimmerman's going to miss the start of the season. Closer is being kept out of the firing line today because they don't want anything to happen to him, and he's not 100%. So you need Hanley and Godfrey to at least be there and completely ready, don't you, next week?
Well, we never knew it would come to this, but yeah, you're right. Godfrey, Tim Close says, Zimmerman, Hanley, which one's the gaffer going to choose? Which one does the manager go with? Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Let's just wait and find out. But players have got to be protected. I understand that. Important for Hanley to stay fit and stay strong. Certainly get through this pre-season friendly match.
Here's Aarons on the right-hand side, coming forward and finding Stiepermann, who releases Aarons again, well forward on the right. Has to just double back to keep it in from the byline. Pukki now, right edge of the penalty area. The Finnish striker weaving away, looking to cause some concerns here for the Toulouse defence, and in the end the best he can do is win a throw-in, level with the Toulouse penalty area at the Barclay end of Carrow Road.
I think Max Aarons started brighter this half. He's more positive going forward. Stiepermann once again involved in anything that's happened in the final third.
Comes. Aarons has found Stiepermann in the penalty area. Back to Max Aarons. He might open up a shooting opportunity. Actually, just took on one defender too many. And Shoji, about 7 yards out by the time the Japanese player, Japanese international, got the tackle in. And it goes through to the goalkeeper. Played at the World Cup last year, the defender there, Gen Shoji. And it was a last-ditch tackle on Max Aarons.
I think the manager's had a word with him, Chris, at half-time, because he is electric at the moment. He's stepped up his game. The fitness seems to be there. The acceleration seems to be there. They're leaving him isolated in this final third on the right-hand side, and he is causing Toulouse problem after problem.
People say he's got proper competition this year in Sam Byram, which is true, but don't forget last year he started the season off behind Pinto, Ben Marshall and probably Felix Paslak as well in the pecking order, and inadvertently ended all of their Norwich careers, Aarons, with his form. None of those three are with the club anymore because they couldn't get a look in at right back with the form of Max Aarons last season. So I'm sure he will feel that he came through quite a lot of competition last year. Now it's the turn of Toulouse to build an attack on the right-hand side. Godfrey, though, striding out and taking the ball away from the captain De Savy. And it'll be a throw-in to Toulouse over on the far side. Collected quickly by De Savy, who's got a bit of space here. Plays it towards the edge of the area. Worked again to De Savy from the byline. He cuts the ball back. Leieska can't quite get there. Acrobatic clearance from Buendia. Then Pukki working hard. Almost 30 yards from his own goal. Just getting his body in the way and ending that Toulouse attack. And that's what Pukki, yes, he got goals. Yes, he was Golden Boot and Player of the Year and all of that. But sometimes it was that work. Getting back into his own half and putting challenges in that made all the difference last season. Poor touch there from Toulouse on halfway, and Buendia with a lovely ball with the outside of the foot. That is brilliant. Cantwell's away and he's put it over the top. That deserved a goal, not really from Cantwell's point of view, but for the pass from Buendia. Absolutely sensational. Outside of the foot, took the entire Toulouse defence out of the game, sent Cantwell one-on-one, and Cantwell was way off target in the end, but what a pass. What a pass from Buendia.
You mentioned Stiepermann being effective in the Premier League. Buendia, he's the magic. He's the man with the skill, and he showed it exactly there with that outside of the right foot pass. Nonchalantly struck, full of talent, full of gift, set up Cantwell. Unfortunately, that deserved a goal. But that just shows you just how clever and how good Buendia is.
Some player. I'm looking forward to seeing him get to grips with the Premier League, Emi Buendia. That pass was wonderful.
Oh yeah, he's going to be an exciting player and a dangerous player for us.
Brace yourselves, the substitutions are coming. There's at least 3 warming up on the far side for Norwich with an hour almost played. Certainly Moritz Leitner and Mario Vrancic are going to join in just a moment. Lewis looks for Campbell. Back to Jamal Lewis. 25 yards out. Oh, he's played Campbell in wide here. Level with the penalty area, Campbell. Went close a moment ago, and he's gone close again there. Hitting the ball across the face of goal. Keeper didn't get a touch, and behind it goes for a goal kick. Norwich turning the screw at the moment. They're well and truly comfortable in this game.
Very comfortable, but they're sharper around the 18-yard box now. In that final third, somebody's got to open up the door. Someone's got to create that bit of magic to create the chances to end up scoring the goals. Campbell there, fair play. He took the responsibility to shoot. He had a go. Unfortunately, just went wide. But Norwich are easing through this game, and there seems to be several gears yet, Chris, that they can step up to.
We may not see that today, though, because substitutions are coming. And as we've said, when that does happen in friendlies, you do tend to lose a little bit of the pattern of play. But Campbell's just taken a knock, and Norwich have referee tried to play advantage, but Pukki couldn't get on the end of the through ball, and so they'll come back for the free kick. But I tell you what, if Campbell had put that chance away from the Buendia pass, I think the main subject in the build up to the Liverpool game would have been those two have got to both start, because the way they linked up there was wonderful. Campbell, though, missing the chance means that piece of action probably won't be replayed quite as much as it might have done. Right, here come the changes, and I think it's Campbell who's played his part. He's coming off to allow Onel Hernandez to come on for Norwich City and show what he can do. Tom Tribal's work is done for the day. Moritz Leitner is going to replace him. Wouldn't be at all surprised if McLean comes off as well, because I can see Vrancic is ready to come on, and that is indeed what's happening. So we're going to have Vrancic and Leitner as the holding midfielders, with Hernandez on the left-hand side now instead of Campbell. And I think the way that Tribal and McLean are being protected here for the last half hour, I don't like to second-guess Daniel Farke. You can't second-guess Daniel Farke, but does it suggest to you that they're being wrapped up in cotton wool now for Friday night?
As a player, yes. Because when you're a sub and you look at the team and you're not involved and you didn't start the game...
shoots from a long way out, ball bounces wide. Sorry, Gussie.
My fault. They took that really, really quickly. I didn't hear the rest whistle to have that free kick. No, as a player, you want to start the friendlies, especially the last friendly before the league game. And when you see the performance like those lads have put in, the three lads who have gone off should be really, really pleased with how they've conducted themselves, how they've played, the confidence they've shown, and of course the skill they've shown. They've now gone off and they think they're favourites to start next week. So let's just see what the subs can do when they come on. Well,
it may have been a red herring, but Daniel Farke did tell us yesterday that if it was a Premier League game today, he wouldn't be picking this starting lineup. Now, loose kick there from Ralph Fearman, the goalkeeper. And Toulouse have got possession. Got a lot of work to do, though. Norwich have got plenty of men back. First time we've seen Toulouse attack for a while. Makengo gets it towards the right-hand side. Hernandez giving chase and making an impression straight away here. Onel Hernandez going in for a challenge. Didn't quite win the ball. Toulouse got it forward. Ben Godfrey will clear the ball for Norwich City up towards halfway. Pukki makes something of it, gets the ball to Stiepermann. They couldn't quite release Hernandez, who was in acres on the left-hand side, and the goalkeeper René for the French side is able to come outside his penalty area and take control of the ball. I think Vrancic would have come on today whatever, because he's a bit behind in terms of minutes for pre-season, and Daniel Farke has already pretty much ruled him out of a start at Anfield, but we'll want to use this as an opportunity to get him playing, and he's put a foot in there and won the ball. Gathered though on the right hand side by Toulouse. Norwich lead 1-0 here on BBC Radio Norfolk. Kenny McLean's first half strike separating the sides. De Savey clearly coming back from an offside position there, touched the ball, and the free kick goes Norwich's way. We're on the air until 6 o'clock here on BBC Radio Norfolk, so no time for a canary call tonight, because by the time this game finishes we'll only have about 10 minutes of the programme to go. In that 10 minutes we will try and round up and get some reaction from Kings Lynn Town's match today, beaten 3-0 at Guiseley, their first match in National North. Might have time to pop back to Snetterton for the touring cars as well, but until then it's all about Norwich City and their final friendly, as Buendia sweeps the ball over to the left hand side and picks out Hernandez. Hernandez gallops into the penalty area, rolls it to Leitner on the edge of the box. Ooh, Leitner caught there. It didn't look particularly pleasant, that, for the German, who has stayed down just on the edge of the Toulouse penalty area. Makongo it was who, stretching, made the challenge. No foul, and now Vrancic slides in and wins the ball back here by himself. Leitner's up, but he's moving a little bit more freely now, but Buendia has sent Pukki into the penalty area. Pukki shot blocked, and behind it goes for the corner. I think Pukki didn't realise quite how close Augustin Rogel was to him there.
No, he scuffed his shot in the end on the right hand side of the penalty area. I thought he was just going to drill it and put his foot through the middle of the ball. He scuffed it a little bit, made it easy for the keeper to make a save. But Hernandez should have shot in that earlier incident. He made space for himself, but he passed it diagonally across to Leitner, who was marked and going to get whacked. He got whacked, but thankfully he's up now.
Buendia, right-hand side, delivers the ball into the penalty area. Hanley again goes for it from the corner, but it's been headed away. And away come Toulouse, and there's a foul there by Leitner, who has certainly recovered from that knock a moment ago on Boisgard as he burst away. One of those fouls that in a Premier League game would have been a yellow card, but not today. It's a friendly. And thankfully, Kevin Friend, again, perfect name for a friendly. It's got the right atmosphere today. We've got a friend and a manager called Casanova involved in this game. It's all very lovely. Vrancic on to Stiepermann now. Releases Pukki. Into the area goes Teemu Pukki. This is the chance. Good save from Reynet, the goalkeeper. Pukki gets to the rebound. He's been closed down. He can't get the shot away. And eventually the goalkeeper has dived on the ball. Pukki saving up his goals for the start of the season, perhaps. He missed a couple of good chances against Atalanta the other night. He's had opportunities here as well. They're just not going in for him in pre-season quite the way they were last season.
I thought the movement against Atalanta was superb from Pukki. He started off again.
He's not going to score today, because that was his last touch.
I was just going to say, he did start again today in that same form, but this time the goals are not going in, and that's disappointing. He'll be disappointed really, because he wants to score goals in any match he plays, especially going into the start of a Premier League campaign. He wants goals, and unfortunately he hasn't seen them come in today, but he's played well, impressive in his movement. I think he can drop off a bit, Chris, and swap with Zimmerman more, because he's such a dangerous player when he turns and runs at defenders, but he's always along the 18-yard line. He's always getting marked. He's always got to get beyond the centre half. Would love to see him drop off a little bit more in space, but well played to him. He looks a great player.
Josip Dermic has come on, the Swiss international striker, who I'm sure will be the support for Pukki, shall we say, as Stiepermann finds Buendia 25 yards out. Buendia, that went down. Referee signalling that the player got the ball there.
Well, he's on the floor still.
Buendia stayed down.
He looks in not a good condition at the moment. They should be kicking the ball out of play, really.
But they're attacking. Leo Eiska on the left-hand side for Toulouse. This is a real concern for Norwich City. Emi Buendia down on the edge of the penalty area. The referee said that he got the ball. The goalkeeper Reynet has come out to see how he is. Now, we did see this a few times during last season where Buendia would go down, because he took an awful lot of punishment, didn't he, last season, Emi Buendia. We just have to hope that this isn't serious, because the last thing you want in any pre-season friendly, let alone the last pre-season friendly, is an injury. But Emi Buendia does not look happy here. He's got his hand over his eyes. He's being treated by the physio.
I think there was no intent there from the Toulouse defender. I think it was just a collision, a follow-through from trying to win the ball. From the replay suggests he may have caught his left ankle, left foot. I think he looks okay now. I think the initial knock has kept him on the floor, but I think he's okay, and he's on his he's just getting up to his feet. I think he'll walk this one off. But there's the concern, the Norwich players should be really saying to them guys to kick the ball out of play. It is a friendly, don't want anyone getting hurt. Didn't happen, it carried on a minute or two, but fortunately Buendia's okay, he's on his feet, he's walking around.
Good news, Toulouse have just taken off, I think, again Shoji, the Japanese defender, went off to be replaced by Afobe Diakite, and they've also taken off Quentin Boisgard in midfield, and on has come Max Gradel, who you might remember from the Premier League, former Bournemouth player. He was with Leeds as well a few years ago, and Leicester. Gradel comes on to play in this one. Ivory Coast international, 31 years old now, Max Gradel. How time flies. And we've still got a quarter of this game to go. Buendia is absolutely fine, which is good news, and he's okay to carry on. And it's Norwich 1, Toulouse 0. There was a couple of games last season where Buendia went down like that, and he looked really badly hurt. And I remember talking about him in quite concerned tones on commentary and worrying about what it meant, only to see him bounce up and come straight back on. So he's one of those players who, I don't know whether it's, well, he just takes so much punishment. It's going to happen eventually. The way that teams tend to deal with him is that they go in. But he tends to give as good as he gets, doesn't he, Emi Buendia? And it'll be interesting to see whether he can keep that temperament under control in the Premier League, which did boil over a couple of times in the Championship, notably the red card against QPR. But
is he looking for the foul? Is he looking to
He's an outstanding player.
Put the opposition in trouble, the guy who's done the tackle, or is he seriously hurt? You never know, do you, really?
Now Mokongo has released, or tried to release Max Gradel on the left-hand side. Gradel gets there, ahead of Max Aarons, brings it into the penalty area, tries to get it across. Hanley's not quite got there, Godfrey does, and Vrancic curls the ball into the left-back position for Norwich, where Buendia wonderfully helps the ball on. And it's Lewis who comes over the halfway line. Buendia looks in the mood now. Jamal Lewis, he's gone most of the length of the pitch here. What a run from Jamal Lewis. Gives it to Steepman on the edge of the box. He goes past one challenge, but not a second. Goes down, no foul, and Toulouse will bring it away. Great play, great link up between Buendia and Jamal Lewis. Great skill from Buendia, and Lewis running most of the length of Carrow Road there.
Terrific play down the left-hand side. Started in their own third. Buendia with a wonderful flick over the defender's head. Lewis chases onto it, bags a space in front of him, attacks everything in front. I actually think he could have gone on and shot Chris, but he chose to pass. I think the wrong option. It broke down, but well played, both those players. And once again, you can see how dominant Norwich are in all types of the game here now, and all across the lines. They're in charge. They're never getting hurt. Don't know if the keeper's going to make a save today in the second half.
Here comes Gradel on the left-hand side to Mokongo. Goes past Vrancic, sets up Gradel, and the keeper does make a save, and Hanley turns the rebound behind for the corner. Max Gradel with the shot, straight at Fearman. He sort of pushed it out with his arms, didn't he? I don't know whether he perhaps could have held it, but it was through a crowd of players, so won't be too critical of him, and Hanley slid the ball behind for the corner.
Small bit of lack of concentration there, let the opposition in, and yes, the keeper did make a save today.
It always happens as soon as we say that won't happen. You'll get used to that, Gossie. Corner, left-hand side, delivered for Toulouse, headed up and away by Dermich. Gradel on the edge of the penalty area, diminutive winger. Ball comes in from the left-hand side, cleared away again, ahead of Godfrey this time. Hernandez chases it up the field. Diakite, who's just come on, plays the ball forward. Hernandez makes the interception though and keeps it in and finds Aarons on the right-hand side. Aarons quickly being closed down. He's put it along the touchline, and Hernandez is going to get there. What a pass from Aarons. The ball rolls along the whitewash, and Hernandez gets there before it goes out of play, and he gives it to Buendia, 30 yards out. Oh, couldn't quite get the ball back to Hernandez, and Binder goes for a goal kick. They're threatening to play some magnificent football here, Norwich City. Buendia's done for the day. He is a man they'll want to wrap up in cotton wool. He's coming off for the last 20 minutes, and Dennis Shrabani will come on and replace him. But Buendia's form in this second half, if that is a sign of things to come, then I think he has the potential to be a bit of a Premier League star this season, doesn't he, Emi Buendia?
I absolutely agree with you. I think he's been wonderful, especially this second half, all through his frustrations in the first half. He's let everything come and go this second half. It's been nonchalant, it's been skillful. The awareness that he's shown, he's been creative. Rightly so, let's take him off, let's give him a rest, let's wrap him in cotton wool. But the same can be said for the other players in the team that have really put a good shift in today. They could all deserve that rest. But can they get another goal? Because they still need more goals. But Toulouse, they look a shambles at the moment. They're giving Norwich so much space, so much time all over the pitch.
Norwich lead 1-0. Patrick Roberts has been brought on as well to replace Marco Stiepermann, who's another one they will want for Anfield on Friday night. Foul by Godfrey, free kick to Toulouse, taken from the halfway line already. Roberts is now playing on the left-hand side, Shrabani in that number 10 position, Hernandez on the right. And the ball has come to Mokongo on the attack for Toulouse, who are looking for an equaliser with 19 minutes to go. Norwich leading by that first half goal from Kenny McLean to 0 here on BBC Radio Norfolk, where we've already brought you commentary of Kings Lynn Town's 3-0 defeat to Guiseley in the National North, first day of the season for them. We'll be with them on Tuesday night as well, when they have their first home game of the season against Kettering. You can hear that one with Nick Bowler, Phil Daly and the team. 7 o'clock on Tuesday evening, and then because Norwich are playing Friday night, we'll be at the Walks again next Saturday when Kings Lynn play Hereford. Good header on there by Silla for Toulouse. Gradel brings it into the penalty area. It's Max Gradel for Toulouse, or he just couldn't return the ball to Silla in the penalty area. They're in a decent position, and he didn't get the pass right. And Mario Vrancic comes away with the ball, and he's already, unchallenged, brought it up to the halfway line. He angles it out to the right, and Hernandez. Now it's Moritz Leitner, one of the Norwich substitutes today. Leitner, lovely ball along the ground to Hernandez. Hernandez, right corner of the area, enters the penalty area now. Has support from Moritz Leitner, who takes a touch. Oh, plays it through nicely. Hernandez from the byline cuts it back. It's asking to be put away here by Vrancic. Deflection and wide. They seem to be queuing up there, didn't they, Gossett, as the ball came across?
Again, defensively, Toulouse are all over the place. Norwich are capitalising on both wings, especially Hernandez, especially Aarons, and they're creating chance after chance. Vrancic should have scored. I would have thought there was a lot of bodies in front of him, but a great opportunity.
Corner from the left-hand side from Roberts. Decent delivery, headed away there by Toulouse. Gradle, suspicion of handball there as he brought it under control.
Yeah, I shouted handball for that, but there wasn't.
You were appealing. Need to shout louder, Gossie. It's getting the ear of Kevin Friend, the referee, but not to be on this occasion. Norwich City lead 1-0. Ben Godfrey, high ball out towards the right-hand side. Nice touch from Hernandez, down to Max Aarons. Still got 17 minutes of this one to go on BBC Radio Norfolk. Here's Godfrey, looking for Roberts. Now Leitner knocks the ball over to the left wing and picks out Jamal Lewis, who's coming forward here very well. Lewis, left corner of the area, still going. Touch from Roberts, onto Dermich. His shot is deflected and it loops, and the goalkeeper has to help it on its way over for another corner. Norwich, well, they've been in control pretty much through this second half, haven't they?
They've got wide players who are causing so much problems for Toulouse. Both flanks, both wide men, both wingers are holding the white line. They're always the outlet, and once they get it, they've got time and space to run at the fullbacks to get crosses in.
Patrick Roberts, corner, right-hand side, into the penalty area, headed down, or it hits Godfrey, it is cleared away. Norwich have actually been a danger from set pieces all afternoon, but they haven't managed to score from one yet. Here's Hernandez on the left-hand side, a step over, takes him into the penalty area, takes on the fullback, crosses, Dermich couldn't quite get there. Cleared away once again by Toulouse, but it's wave after wave of attack for Norwich City at the moment. Godfrey exchanges passes with Lewis. He's got Vrancic in front of him on the left-hand side, but instead the ball's gone back towards the halfway line. Godfrey picks out Vrancic, who seems to be taken down there. Yeah, free kick has gone Norwich's way. I just wanted to mention a tweet I've had from Daniel Sandham, who says, "What a joy to hear Gossie as the co-commentator on Radio Norfolk, my all-time favourite Norwich City player." To which Bangkok Canary has replied and said, "Very soothing, isn't he?" Very soothing, Gossie. We might need a bit of that in the Premier League if you're around.
Soothing, okay. Yeah. I must have the voice for this, Chris. I haven't got the knowledge, but I may have the voice.
Well, that's all that counts. They made a change there. Toulouse, while I was talking to you, I think they've just taken off Aaron Leia-Jeska. I think they've brought on Yaya Sanogo, haven't they? The former Arsenal striker. Had a spell with Crystal Palace and Charlton as well. Had 4 years with Arsenal. Never quite happened for him there under Arsene Wenger. He's now 26 years old. And it's a throw-in.
I think I've noticed about the Norwich team, everybody wants the ball. Wherever they are, they want it. They go into space to receive it, they get it, they knock it to a yellow shirt, they find more space to receive it again. All over the pitch. And that's what's making them look a good team. Then when they haven't got the ball like now, they close and they press. They're pressing a high third pressing game at the moment, putting so much pressure on the Toulouse players.
And Toulouse have the ball, bringing up towards the halfway line. Looked like it had gone out of play for a throw-in. It has now, surely. Throw-in goes Toulouse's way. Norwich lead 1-0, 13.5 minutes to go. In terms of the substitutes that haven't come on for Norwich City, it's just the fullbacks, Byram and Heister, who are now waiting to see whether they'll get a chance. Sereni working hard, running the ball on halfway for Norwich City, finding Hernandez on the left wing. Forward he comes, into the path of Dermich now, who sprints into the penalty area from the angle. Dermich across to Patrick Roberts, and the ball hits the loan signing from Manchester City, and he can't get the shot in, and Toulouse clear. Had so many openings, Norwich City, in the second half, that they've just lacked that killer touch.
Dermich was being so polite there. He wanted his teammate to score. He was in a great position to just drill it past the keeper in the back of the net, and he got his head up, he looked outside the goal, tried to pass to his teammate, and it broke down. That's where you got to be selfish.
And now a Max Aarons injury, which we don't want. He's down at the moment, receiving, I don't think he's going to need any treatment actually, just in front of us. Seems to a knock in the face possibly he's taken there, so didn't look as if it's anything that was going to be particularly long term, and that certainly seems to be the case now for Max Aarons, and the game will continue. Norwich leading 1-0 in their final pre-season friendly before they go to Anfield and start life in the Premier League. Leitner and Roberts go looking for the ball. It's come towards the halfway line. Mistake by Toulouse, and Vrancic has played Dermich away. Dermich onside, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, tries to go round him. He's gone very wide here, Dermich, he might need some help. Goes it alone, his shot is eventually blocked. Then with a back heel, he tees up Patrick Roberts, who helps it to the edge of the area. Vrancic's shot is fallen for Dennis Srebeni. Goalkeeper makes a great save. Srebeni picks up the pieces. Can he get the shot in? No, somehow Toulouse have smuggled that ball away. How have Norwich City not scored a second goal? Dermich was through, he went round the goalkeeper but went too wide. Srebeni brought a brilliant point-blank save out of the goalkeeper. They must be saving all their goals up for the Premier League. Here they come again. Jamal Lewis hits a high ball forward, cleared away. They're going to have to be more clinical than this, Gossie, aren't they?
Oh, it was a pinball game, wasn't it? Ricochet after ricochet. Dermich should have scored. He should have taken the ball on and hit it first time past the keeper. Tried to be too clever.
And at the other end, De Savey sets up Gradle for Toulouse. Roberts with the challenge. Gradle has somehow got his way through here, but Fearman comes off his line and hacks the ball upfield for Norwich City. Slight mistake there from Rogel, the Uruguayan player, but no one was close enough to him to penalise, and he's able to get the ball back under control. 1-0 to Norwich. This should be 4 or 5.
I mean, offensively, Norwich have been outstanding all day, and as the Toulouse players.
Nope. Now they're on the attack here. Amiat gets it to the edge of the penalty area. Yaya Sanogo shot, not far over the crossbar. And the officials have decided there was a deflection on that and have given a corner to Toulouse. And this is the problem, when you're not putting opposition away and you're missing chances.
I was about to say,
as
fatigue sets in for all the Toulouse players, it's only spelling more danger for them defensively. That opportunity, they just broke away quickly and got a shot. But it seems to be just an easy practice game for Norwich. But let's hope they can defend this one.
Yeah, clean sheet would be nice, wouldn't it? 6 days before the season starts. 10 minutes away from it. Corner, left-hand side, headed up in the air. Fearman doesn't seem too worried about that. And the ball's dropped behind, but it came off a Norwich head last, and so will be another corner to the visitors, who I believe made the journey over from France this morning, which is why it was a 4 o'clock kick-off today rather than 3 o'clock. Give them an extra bit of time to get here. So if they are fatigued, that might be one of the reasons.
Well, listen, look at this fantastic stadium they're playing in front. And the pitch, look at the pitch, is beautiful. There's no excuses about tiredness.
De Savey's corner, left-hand side for Toulouse. Fearman gets a decent punch on that. It's fallen for Gradle on the edge of the area, but he's been tackled by Dermich, and away we go again. The cavalry charge from Norwich City. Dermich, though, just holds onto the ball on halfway and plays it back to Grant Hanley. On now to Vrancic. Hanley was caught after playing the ball. Dermich, I think, ran up towards halfway and realised he'd been so quick there was nobody up with him.
There's no support on the right-hand side, and the one support there was through the centre. He had it at 30 yards, so he checked back, stopped the momentum. We win the foul, and on we go again down the right-hand side.
Aaron's on to Patrick Roberts. Roberts, corner of the area. Dermich lays it back to Patrick Roberts. 30 yards from goal now. Roberts has to go back slightly to keep the attack going. Leitner, great ball across. He's picked out Hernandez on the left edge of the penalty area. Into the area he goes, past one challenge, past another one. Vrancic with a shot from the edge of the box. Easy for the goalkeeper to save. They're peppering the goal, Gossie.
I think Hernandez has been exceptional since he's come on. He may be up against players who are tired, fullbacks who are tired, but for me, he really is shown a lot of positiveness there. He gets up players, he drives through space. He's so creative in and around that penalty area for Norwich City.
Yeah, and will become, I'm sure, at some point, even if it doesn't happen at Anfield, the first Cuban to play in the Premier League. Here's Aarons on the right-hand side. Now, Dermich is away, in space, on the right wing. The Swiss international, right edge of the penalty area now, biding his time, plays it across, there's Leitner, and he's put it straight at the goalkeeper. They cannot find a second goal. It's a good job this is a friendly, or we'd be banging the desk in frustration.
Again, it was one of those, do you smash the ball in the back of the net, or do you pass it square to your teammate? He chose the latter, and it didn't come off.
And now a high ball up from Toulouse to Yaya Sanogo, who's stretching, manages to bring it under control. Here's Silla, forward from defence. Plays it inside. Sanogo again. Vrancic sensibly positioned in behind Max Aarons to intercept that pass. And then he has the confidence to shift the ball across the edge of his own 6-yard box and find Jamal Lewis.
No Toulouse player is up that high on the pitch anyway to press.
Lewis now into the path of Onel Hernandez. Hernandez, left corner of the penalty area. Norwich 1-0 up. They deserve a second goal. Hernandez has got Leitner on the overlap. His cross, edge of the 6-yard box, and there's no one there for Norwich, and it's cleared quite comfortably. But here's Vrancic 30 yards out. Vrancic spots Roberts in acres of space on the right wing and finds him. Level with the penalty area. Patrick Roberts walks into the box with the ball. Now tries to go through the gears, but gets tackled as he tries to step between two defenders. And Gradle, back defending, plays it to Silla, and Gradle again. Still in the Toulouse left-back position. They're slightly overplaying there, and Leitner very nearly nipped in. Gradle eventually tries to clear, and again nearly gives it away, but eventually they do work it nicely. Makongo towards the halfway line. Touch for Sanogo, the target man. Lewis gets a foot to the ball. It's come for Onel Hernandez, and Norwich have a chance to mount another attack. Vrancic, outside of the boot, nonchalantly played. Collected on the left by Jamal Lewis, who plays the cross into the penalty area now. Headed down by Diakite, but it's fallen for Patrick Roberts. His shot is saved. Shrabeni slightly on his heels, but gets to the rebound, and he blasts it against the goalkeeper. And Baptiste Reynet, the goalkeeper, has played brilliantly today, isn't he?
Patrick Roberts done well there. That was a tough ball to latch onto, his left peg. Hit the target well. Keeper made a good save. Follow-up didn't go our way either, but I think at the moment it's with tired bodies, Chris, comes tired minds.
6 minutes to go. Norwich 1, Toulouse 0. The two replacement fullbacks, Heise and Byram, are getting ready to come on for Norwich City. And then Daniel Farke will have played all of his substitutes. Hernandez on the left-hand side. How Norwich are not further ahead in this game, I'll never know. They've peppered the goal in this second half. Here they come again. 5.5 minutes remaining. Dermich in the penalty area. He goes for goal. Blocked. An ambitious effort that from the corner of the box. Godfrey wins the ball strongly there, off Sanogo, comes forward to Dermich, back to Godfrey on the edge of the penalty area. Now it goes to Patrick Roberts, who's 30 yards out, into Ben Godfrey, doesn't mind a shot from there, and it whistles wide.
What a great strike. That was unlucky. Ben Godfrey's set an example by saying, listen lads, when you're this far away from the goal, hit it, don't try and walk the ball in the net. Terrific strike from him, but just went wide.
A change being made by Toulouse. They're going to bring on Nathan Ngumu, a French under-19 international, instead of Desavi. He's played well in the first half, but has been fairly anonymous in the second. And the changes we anticipated, Aarons and Lewis are both going off. The two full-backs who played such starring roles last season, Byram and Heise, come on. And I think that's one area of the team where, certainly at the start of the season, the pecking order is in place, isn't it? It's going to be Aarons and Lewis at Anfield. And Byram and Heise are going to have to wait their turn.
I think so. It's good that there is cover. They need cover, especially going into such an important season. But those two full-backs have impressed, and they must have done likewise. They must have started where they finished from last season, this pre-season. It looks like that from watching them on the pitch. They look good. They look comfortable. They look fit. They look strong, positive.
4 minutes to go. Here come Toulouse. The ball crossed in from the right-hand side, and Philippe Heise gets the block in, and out it goes for a corner to the French side. Reminder, Kings Lynn beaten 3-0 by Guiseley today, their first match in National North, and we'll perhaps be able to bring you some reaction to that before we go off the air at 6 o'clock. And I'll hand back to the studio and Sam Day, who's going to take you through until 6. Corner from the right-hand side, and it comes for Toulouse. Goalkeeper Fairman has come off his line and not got there. The header has gone awry though. Chance might not have gone because they've gathered it again on the left-hand side. Here's Silla, gets it towards the edge of the penalty area, but that's a poor ball forward from Makongo, and back out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Fairman's eager to impress. He wants to deliver well. That opportunity there to come out and punch the ball on the 6-yard line. He just missed his time, and he just missed the ball. Luckily for Norwich, it spun off in our favour. However, must be frustrating for him because he wants a touch. He wants to show the Norwich fans how good he is in goal. He has made a couple of decent saves, but the balls come straight at him. But then you're just simply judged on your distribution and coming out of the 18-yard box, playing as a centre-half to maintain possession.
Look at how full of running Ben Godfrey still is as he sprints up towards the halfway line.
No, brilliant.
Norwich eventually win a free kick. Toulouse have just brought on John Bostock. They've taken off Sam Sanner. Bostock, if the name rings a bell, he is now 27 years old, but he made his debut for Crystal Palace at the age of 15 and was regarded as a massive talent. Went to Tottenham. I don't think he made a first-team appearance for them. He's had several clubs since and has now found his way with Toulouse. Here's Shrabeni on the edge of the penalty area for Norwich City. Hernandez on the left-hand side in the box, looking to work an opportunity here. Onel Hernandez gets the shot in, blocked. It pinballs around once more. Shrabeni comes to life in the box but can't get to the ball, and it's been cleared. And Sanogo chasing this one against Godfrey, and Godfrey So energetic, so athletic, gets to the ball first and finds Fearman, who passes it out to Philip Heiser. Heiser, the left back who didn't play for Norwich last season, with a poor clearance there, and it needs Hanley to stride in and get the ball away, because you could see that Koulouris, the Greek striker, who hasn't had a sniff in the second half, suddenly fancied his chances. It was a silly clearance really down the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, you get to a stage of the game now where you're so confident, you try and overplay in areas that are dangerous and you think you can get out of. That was an example of that there, didn't go his way. Fortunately, it's resolved to nothing and we come away, but wow, the centre-halves and the full-backs have been so solid tonight, been really impressive.
Here's Vrancic, looking for Byram on the right-hand side. Byram will almost find Leitner, throw into Norwich City, right wing. Byram finds Patrick Roberts. Roberts beats his man, brings the ball into the penalty area. Patrick Roberts then tries a back heel to Byram, which doesn't come off, and perhaps the ball into the middle might have been more sensible. And Toulouse ought to clear their lines here with Max Gradle filling in at left back. Cleared. Vrancic goes for it. Hanley heads it on. And battle goes on now for the ball. Gradle trying to bring it away. Byram gets his head to the ball. Foul. Free kick given to Toulouse deep inside their own half. But the attendance, 12,615. So half full, almost exactly, Carrow Road today.
Patrick Roberts has done okay since he's come on. He's been quite effective. I think the fans are expecting quite a lot from someone linked and associated with Manchester City. I'm sure he'll get his chance and his opportunity. This evening he looks quite tricky.
Ball's gone astray there by Toulouse, and Roberts has got it. And Roberts comes forward and plays the ball forward with the outside of his foot, but Buendia has set the standard for that in this game, and that one was straight through to the goalkeeper. It remains 1-0 to Norwich City. Is Kenny McLean's first half goal going to be all we get in terms of goals today? Shouldn't have been. Norwich have had so many chances, they've been rampant.
Yeah.
It's one of the more comfortable 1-0 scorelines you've ever seen, but 1-0 is never a safe scoreline. And here comes Gradle, shooting low. Fearman makes the save. Is there a sucker punch at the end of this pre-season for Norwich City? Gradle crosses from the left-hand side, blocked, and behind it goes for a corner.
Well played, Fearman. He's done well there. I think he just showed everyone what he's like. Good shot stopper.
They've taken the corner quickly. Makongo crosses from the left-hand side. Oh, Byram and one of the other Norwich players got in the way of each other there, and the ball is spun wide in the end by Diakite. It'll be a goal kick. That's the way football goes. Toulouse get an equaliser here because Norwich have been so good.
With a ramp in it, they're going forward in the final third. They've been terrific. That was just a counter-attacking opportunity for Toulouse. Caught them on the break.
Vrancic to Roberts on halfway. Roberts angles the ball towards Byram. We're in stoppage time now on BBC Radio Norfolk. Byram releases Moritz Leitner. Can Norwich finish with a flourish before Anfield? Leitner waits, finds Byram outside him on the right hand side. Former West Ham and Leeds man now goes further back to Hanley, onto Vrancic, and I think Norwich just making sure that nothing untoward happens at the end here. They're keeping possession well. It goes to the left hand side. Hernandez now takes on the defender. Hernandez into the penalty area. He hits a shot low, straight at the goalkeeper.
Oh, well played, Hernandez. Very positive. Dropped his shoulder, took the ball one way, got his shot in.
Godfrey does so well there against Yaya Sanogo, competing for a high ball, emerging with it, and then playing it to Hernandez, who helps it into the path there of Heiser. Back to Hernandez on the left-hand side. His cross comes to Dennis Shrubeni, who couldn't get the shot away. Heiser, left corner of the box, allows Hernandez to take possession. Heiser is there with him. Hernandez has found him. Here's Philip Heiser. Leitner now joins in the play on that left-hand side. Godfrey on his haunches on halfway, hopefully not too damaged by that last little bit of action. And that's always the way when a player doesn't look quite fit, the ball goes to him. But
goes to him, yeah.
He's done well to find Vrancic out to the left-hand side. And that is the end of pre-season for Norwich City. And they finished with a win. And it's one of the most one-sided 1-0s you'll ever see. Kenny McLean with the only goal of the game after 38 minutes, but particularly in the second half, Norwich City absolutely rampant, absolutely dominant. They were all over Toulouse. They had chance after chance. The amount of times the ball pinballed around inside the penalty area. Baptiste Reynet, the goalkeeper for Toulouse, has certainly had his pre-season workout today, making a number of saves from close range to keep the scoreline down to 1. And I think Norwich City will be delighted to head off into the Premier League season with a clean sheet and with a victory. The one nagging thing will be that they should have won this one more comfortably, but it's a win. hope Godfrey's okay. He looks like he's struggling a little bit out there at the moment, but on the face of it, it doesn't look like any serious injury problems, Gossie. So on we go to Anfield.
How lucky are they? On you go to Anfield, followed by as many thousands of Norwich City fans as who can make that trip up to Merseyside. What a day that's going to be. But I'm looking at the players now. Some of them have got their hands on their knees, hands on their hips. They're deep breathing. Shows to me they put a really good shift in today, and they've not used this as a kind of Mickey Mouse warm-up, five-a-side game. They know the seriousness of this season coming up. They know the seriousness of this particular friendly. I think everybody's put a really good shift, as you expect. Attitude has been exceptional, work rate has been brilliant, and I must admit some players have really excelled. I loved Hernandez when he came on. I thought he was exceptional. Okay, granted, he's up against tired fullbacks, but he still had to do his worth. Godfrey, magnificent pick of the bunch for me at the back. I thought McLean was terrific. Tribal, wonderful. Todd Cantwell showed a lot of confidence. I think there's a lot of positives coming from the fullbacks. Goalkeepers, Tim Krul, okay, not tested again, but nor was Fairman. So what the manager does there, I don't know. He's got big decisions to make. He's wandering around the pitch now, applauding the fans, and rightly so. This is not just a friendly for him. This is a serious, important game for him. He needs to make his team selection. He needs to pick that first 11. He's got a lot of thinking to do, because a lot of players out there today have really excelled, and they've given him a lot to think about, Chris.
Jerry Goss, fantastic to have you with us. I'm sure we will again later on in the season. I know a lot of people have enjoyed hearing you back on commentary duty with us on BBC Radio Norfolk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you. Good stuff from Jeremy Goss.
Lovely to be here.
And that's it as far as pre-season's concerned for Norwich City. We will go and get an interview with Daniel Farker. You'll be able to hear reaction in our sports bulletins tomorrow morning on BBC Radio Norfolk. But with the time at 8 minutes to 6, it's time to round up what else has been going on a busy day of sports in Norfolk and beyond. Let's take you back to the studio and Sam.